Thank you for clicking on this video to watch our podcast.
The Foreplay Podcast, in case you didn't know the name. This is our 11th take on trying to do this video. Well, all we really want you to do is like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to the goddamn podcast. It takes 2 seconds.
Thank you.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We have myself, Trent, and Frankie. They are in studio. I am not. Lurch is not responding to text messages, so I assume that he's out slinging, virtual reality or something of that nature. If he joins the show late, you will now understand why. Big news, Bryson DeChambeau, yet again. Every time we do a fucking show about golf, Bryson DeChambeau is there. It's why he's kind of the ratings machine of golf, even without necessarily probably wanting to be. Most of the time it is negative. So we got a lot to get to on that front. And again, the breaking news is that PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan announced yesterday on Tuesday that it will be deemed disrespectful and people will now run the risk of being banned, barred, ejected from PGA Tour events if they yell Brooksy at Bryson DeChambeau. I called it an embarrassing day for golf. I know we've discussed this at length. You could go back to months ago, whenever the video first came out, where Bryson said to the fans, "Don't call me Brooksy, don't call me Brooksy," that everyone on earth is like, oh, yep, now everybody's going to call him Brooksy. It's going to get really bad. It's a few months later. It's gotten really bad. But now it's got to the point where the PGA Tour is going to kick people out of the tournament for calling him someone else's name. That's where we're at, gentlemen.
Couple things I want to say before I get into what the PGA Tour said. And first is, I think we would all agree, at least I personally think, that the Brooksy joke isn't funny anymore. I think it's super duper played out. We're now 3 or 4 months into this thing, and it just doesn't, I understood the comedic value at first because their beef was really hot, and now we're just so far down the road on it that I don't think it's as funny, certainly, as it originally was. Second thing, it's hard not to feel bad for the guy because he clearly doesn't know how to handle this situation whatsoever. Every move that he makes seemingly is the wrong one. It makes everything worse. He's just, whatever is going on with him, he's not equipped to handle a situation that he has found himself in with Brooks. Now, with all of that said, I do not like the move by the PGA Tour because I don't think it's going to work. I think maybe it'll work for a few people. A few people will be like, oh, I don't want to get thrown out of this tournament, so I'm not going to do it. I do think there will be people who still do it. And it's just not the look that Bryson DeChambeau needs. He doesn't need – I understand that it's clearly getting to him. He has said that people who are playing with him at these tournaments are saying – you hear it nonstop, and it's clearly affecting Bryson. But I don't think he needs Papa Bear PGA Tour to then come out and say, if you say Brooksy during a tournament, you are going to get thrown out of the tournament. I don't think that's going to make it as – it's not going to make it better. It's not going to do what I think the PGA Tour thinks it's going to do.
Yeah, if you yell Brooksy at Bryson, you are lame. I think that is extremely lame. I think you deserve to be made fun of. I think hopefully people in the crowd are making fun of them. I heard there was one report that Roger Maltby turned around and was just laying into a couple guys that were yelling Brooksy, which I'm all for. That's great. Having said all of that, I couldn't agree more, Trent, that banning it is, again, embarrassing. It's not some vulgar thing that they're yelling at Bryson DeChambeau. It is, and everyone agrees, the tides have turned, right? Like the players, Rory, Cantlay, which we'll get into what they said, have all come out and been like, yeah, Bryson brought some of it himself, but it's gone too far. People shouldn't be heckled. It's disrespectful in our game. It's unfortunate what he has to deal with just because he doesn't handle social situations or Twitter or whatever as well as a lot of other people or as well as Brooks. Doesn't mean that he should have to go through this pretty terrible thing that's clearly affecting him as a human being and a person. But guess what? It's a sporting event. People buy tickets and they're not going out there screaming, I'm going to fuck your girlfriend. Or if they say something ridiculous like that, or like people were screaming at Rory that one time where we sort of justified, kick those people out. If they're not screaming vulgar, ridiculous things, if they're just calling him Brooksy, you can't kick him out for that. You can't even come close to kicking him out for that. The reason that the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan makes $4 million a year. Bryson makes way more than that. All these guys, that is the trade-off. Like, you are choosing to live and play a sport in the public eye, in a public arena. Those tickets put money in their pockets. The people that view on TV, us, put money in their pockets. And the exchange for that is clearly that people have the right to chime in and to chirp, to scream, to yell, to chant like they do in every other sport. If they are saying, again, vulgar, preposterous things that go over the line, that if a child is there, that you wouldn't feel comfortable with your child hearing it, those things should be banned. Yelling Brooksy at the guy, as lame as it is, as much as I think it should stop, you can't be kicked out of an event for that. I think that is a horrible look for golf. I think us trying to forever make golf seem cool, golfers come off as athletes, is a big step backwards because people are yelling the word Brooksy at a guy. I think it's just a horrible, horrible look.
Yeah, no, it's gotten to the point now, though, for me, where I don't know what else someone like Bryson is supposed to, what he's supposed to do. It's gotten so out of hand. And I said this a couple shows ago, but every single person that yells Brooksy, it's their first time ever seeing Brooks on that hole at that golf course in their life. So, like, it's never going to end. They're always going to keep doing it. This guy sees this. It's not like a team where you go out there, you strand, bases loaded, John Carlos Stanton strikes out on a low slider in the dirt, and the whole Yankee Stadium gives him the Bronx cheer, and they're all booing him until he gets back to the dugout. That's something that's like deserved. That's something that you know is expected. What Bryson DeChambeau is going through right now is unprecedented. It's nonstop every step of the way. We've seen people like Spieth be like, it's out of control when you play with him. It's nonstop. Every time he walks away, all you hear is Brooksy, 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 Brooksy. And for a guy that can't handle it, clearly can't handle it, what else is he supposed to do? I understand that this is like an outrageous thing for a sporting league to do, a professional sports league to say you can't say a certain word. I just think it's gotten so out of hand for this guy, something that is not even comparable to other sports. It's every step he takes, another fucking college bro is screaming Brooksy, and the guy can't handle it. He just can't. What is he supposed to do?
Well, I would argue he can handle it. Like, he almost just won a golf tournament. Like, it's not like he's incapable of existing as a human being. He just played better than 69 guys, really played better than, like, Patrick Cantlay, except the guy made a bunch of bombs. So, like, it's not like he can't even enter the tournament. Like, he almost won the fucking thing.
No, I know, but we don't know what it's doing to the guy. And I know it sounds soft and probably not the take I'm usually going to have, especially when it comes to Bryson DeChambeau, but I just think he can't get out of his own way, and at some point the PGA Tour had to be like, all right, at this point, this is what we classify as bullying or taking to another level.
I think they use disrespectful.
Disrespectful. Like, at this point, it's something that's not like get in the bunker or like fuck you,
mashed
potatoes or baba booey or whatever. Like, it's not that. This is something that is so they want. And we've joked about this with our fucking listeners and the people that follow us. Like, do you want him to cry? What do you want Bryson to do? Are you going to scream Brooksy at him so much that he cries? Like, what is the end game for the people on the golf course? Are you going to relentlessly call him the wrong name where you know it annoys him so much that he's just going to break down and weep on the fairway? Is that where it's going to end? Because if it doesn't end that way, someone needs to step in and say, we have this guy's back. This guy that is a catalyst for bringing golf to a new level and hitting golf balls 400 yards. He makes us money. We make him money. We need to step up for this guy at some point, no? Like that's his boss stepping up for him, saying, yeah, we have this guy's back, because he's getting relentlessly pushed around by our fan base nonstop to the point where it's like bullying. They have to teach about this in school and what not to do to Bryson DeChambeau.
But like Bryson tweeted, okay, on May 26th, 2 months ago, he tweeted at Koepka, "It's nice to be living rent-free in your head," with an exclamation point. Like, he isn't just some innocent, complete living. He puts videos out every couple weeks of himself. He is quite literally choosing to put himself out there to be judged. Like, he's not in some hiding being like, I'm a recluse that can't handle this sucks. Like, he is out there all of the time. He's been partaking, and then when it got a little too hot, all of a sudden it's like, he now needs to be coddled
but
by
it's hot. It's not a little too hot. It's hot.
But it's not that people aren't screaming at him like, we're going to rip your cock off. They're yelling, Brooksy, who cares?
I know.
They aren't yelling that.
They're not.
I don't think they are.
No.
They might start, but they're not yelling it currently. But
I have a solution for this, and I said it weeks ago. He has to come to this match with Dave Portnoy and Brooks Koepka. It is over if he comes to the match. This entire thing is completely squashed. Bryson DeChambeau allows the whole entire world, the golfing world, the internet world, Barstool world, everyone that knows of Bryson DeChambeau, they know that he's now in on the joke. They know that he can take the punches. They know that he is one of the guys that can joke around, and he knows that it's not something like we're saying. He's not a recluso or whatever you said, that he's sitting in the corner crying like John Tavares just left his team and went to the fucking Toronto Maple Leafs like me. He can actually take a fucking jab once in a while. He's not doing that, though. There's obviously something going on with Bryson that he can't make those decisions for himself. Like, yeah, he's throwing out a couple jabs every once in a while, trying to get a part of the mix because it's not ending. I think that tweet about the rent-free things, like he's sitting down at a table being like, how do I end this? And is it about, do I join the punches? Do I swing back? Like, somebody give me the equation on how to win this and stop people screaming Brooksy. I need someone to help me out.
But like a few years, like what was it, a year ago or so, he on a live stream just started chirping Brooks Koepka about how he doesn't have abs and like he is not some just innocent victim in the whole thing. That's what's driving me crazy, is that like people are like, oh, we need to step up because he's the nerd at the locker that the jocks just started to like pick on. That's not what happened. Like, he was actively partaking and firing shots left and right to the point where Brooks Koepka had to respond with like the pictures of his 4 major trophies at his staircase to like respond to the guy at one point. Like, he has, and so that's where, again, the two things for me that are making it ridiculous that they banned it is that the thing just isn't that bad. I just don't think it's that bad. It's the word Brooksy. That's like, yeah, it's annoying to him, but like they're not yelling some outrageous vulgar thing that you have to cover your kids' ears, otherwise they'll be scarred for life that somebody heard it. They're yelling the other guy's name at him. And then the other thing is that he has, for this entire time up until like a month ago, been actively participating. I feel bad for the guy. I feel sorry as well, but I do not think, like, I also, like I said, there's players in the NBA, in the NHL, who get booed and shit like thrown at them and ruthlessly like mocked all of the time. This is sports. This is like what it is, and I don't think that yelling just somebody else's name is crossing the line. Like, I just don't. Like, it's annoying. I think it's so lame. But
it gets to you as a human. If someone comes up to you and keeps calling you Steve and your name's Sam, and he's saying Steve relentlessly all night. What's up, Steve? Go get me a drink. You're just like, actually, it's not my name, dude. Like, do you want to, like, if you say it one more time, I'm going to have to swing on you. Like, that happens in every aspect of life. If a guy's really trying to be a dick, they say the wrong name. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make him mad. He, every day when he goes out and golfs and he plays his profession, knows that the majority of people hate him by joining in on this. He just knows it. The PGA Tour is basically allowing the entire fan base to rag on one guy. I don't know what the correct answer was for the PGA Tour. I mean, I don't think they probably had to step in. I think what needs to happen is other players, like Jordan Spieth made a couple comments when he played with them being like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's nonstop. You need guys to just be like, this is fucking lame.
Rory did it.
Cantlay
did it. Yesterday.
That's what would end it.
But the only reason they're saying that is in response to what the PGA Tour did. Otherwise, I don't think that they would be answering those questions.
So stupid, Colin. Like, I don't know. I know exactly the type of people that are doing it. I can picture it in my head. They're all fucking cheersing their beers together, laughing. They have it on Snapchat, as they call him, Brooksy. It's like nonstop. And it's every hole, every course, every tournament. It's nonstop. The guy's probably just like, fucking just let me win.
We all agree it sucks. Like, I think we all agree it sucks.
Then how
I
is
guess,
it
are
supposed
you
to end?
saying that you support the ban is like the right thing to do?
I don't know what the right thing to do was, but something had to be said out loud, being like, you guys fucking suck on the other side of the ropes. You guys are all losers. Like, something had to be known where, like, now we're all talking about it, being like, yeah, you know what? It is fucking pathetic that these guys, like, that's what, like, the only joke they can come up with. Like, something had
pathetic
to happen, or like, if they didn't come out with this, we're just calling him Brooksy next week. I don't know, at Eastlake. It just continues on forever.
But I think that's the fans' right. That's my point. Is I think that is their right. If they want to be lame and losers and yell dumb shit, like they've been yelling mashed potatoes forever, I think that's unbelievably lame. I don't think people should be kicked out for doing it.
Yeah, I know. We definitely live in a softer world than we were brought, like, than there once was. This is obviously it's fucking PC culture and it's pussification of America. At some point, they have to like take a stand for someone being directly like verbally abused, is what they're going to call it, of them calling him Brooksy. They know he doesn't like to be called Brooksy, the other name, and everyone's doing it. So at some point they had to stand up for their guy. I don't know. It's probably not the right move to kick people out. That's insane to have like someone that paid to be there. I guess they could say whatever the fuck you want. But as an entity, as a league, you have to stand by your guy at some point.
And I don't even know if here we go. I don't know if Bryson went there and like complained to them. Do you guys, what side do you guys go on that? Like, I've seen a lot of tweets saying that he crawled to, the leaders and was like, you have to do something about this. I think they probably did it on their own.
I would guess they did it on their own, but I would guess that they probably even asked him, like, what do you, like, is it that bad? And who knows what he said, but yeah, I mean, the tour's always been pretty secretive with how they handle stuff. They don't publish what fines people get. They don't really come out and be very public with those types of things. And yeah, I do think like this had become a big part of the discourse on and off the golf course every week. When Bryson's in contention, like people talk about what's being said. So the tour had to address it, obviously. And maybe this is just a threat that, like you're saying, Frankie, hopefully that they think that it could have the right effect without them actually having to kick people out. I just think, again, there's a difference between like just whatever I think is lame doesn't mean it should be banned from a tournament, right? Like I get that certain people have different takes on their approach. And so as long as, to me, it's not wildly offensive or vulgar or going to ruin somebody's day, that they hear it, that a child hears it, again, it's something like you wouldn't want your kid to hear, then I think for the most part it should be allowed. And as much as I would love for it to go away, I think it is, you are a loser if you do that. And the example you give, Frankie, is perfect. Of like, I got it on my Snapchat, I shared it with my friends. Oh. How funny is that? And it's like, oh, you did that. Is that really worth like hurting this guy's mental health? No, the answer was no, it's not. But on some level, you're a professional athlete in the arena that makes money off of these people. That is the deal. That is what you have agreed to. Otherwise, Bryson, go be a weightlifter or go be, I don't know, go get like another normal 9-to-5 job if that's not what you want. But he has agreed to the trade-off is I make millions of dollars to play this game in front of millions of people. And this is the potential risk, is that fans might not love me. I might see negative shit on the internet. Go look at any of the comments on like any Instagram video that I post. Like, are we going to ban people from like being able to comment on our Instagrams because it's negative and it hurts Rig's psyche? No, this is the life that like I've agreed to, that you guys have agreed to, where we're able to have the air quotes success that we have because we are public. We put our game, our thoughts, our swings, our videos out there to the public, and that is the trade-off that we've agreed to. In my opinion, like that is the trade-off that Bryson has agreed to, and the comments and words coming from the other side, I don't think have been egregious enough to be banned yet. That's what I think.
What I do think is going to work is the comments from guys like Rory and Patrick Cantlay. Like that, I get that the PGA Tour, them saying what they said sparked the conversation with Rory and Patrick Cantlay, but that's the stuff that's actually going to get through to the fans, and I think people will do it less and less because people very much respect Rory. Cantlay's coming off a win. People really like him now. Like I think that'll go a further way than the PGA Tour being like, you're out of here if you say Brooksy. So I think it is going to get better, but not necessarily because the PGA Tour is threatening to throw people out of.
You can't ban them. You can't ban people.
No.
Yeah.
You got it. I wish they could have came out with a statement saying you are a fucking loser. And I wanted them to use that wording. You are a fucking loser if you call Bryson DeChambeau Brooksy. That's what I wish that would have happened. That's my ultimate solution to the Brooksy situation.
What if we start a petition, okay, that the statement is just, you are a fucking loser if you call Bryson Brooksy, and then we just go lobby and get as many PGA Tour players as we can to sign it.
I like it.
Yeah. I think they would sign it.
It's just the dumbest joke now at this point. It was funny in the beginning. I like watching guys get rattled. It's part of my entertainment. I like watching losing more than I like watching winning. I like misery more than I like happiness. I enjoyed watching Bryson squirm, blink, be a weirdo, be socially awkward. And even I, with the smallest and darkest and coldest of hearts, can see with fucking clear 20/20 vision, even though I wear contacts, I could see that this is a problem at this point for this guy because he cannot stand up for himself in the way that he needs to. He's just never going to catch up with the jokes. He's just not one of the boys. He can't joke around with this crew, especially when it comes to Brooks. And part of my take, they're in another league. They are in another league, and no one is backing this guy up. Nobody. They're leaving him on a fucking island to just die. And yes, he's performing well. He's playing good golf. but he just can't get in on the joke, man. He's just not capable of it. It's like, I don't know.
Right, like
I'm not going to diagnose the guy with anything, but he has no social cues on how to be funny and like how to fucking join in on the joke. He even came on here and like his only joke was like Frankie butter knives it and we went nuts. It's like, but he's not actually like I don't know how to fucking. We've seen all the videos, man. Watch one of his YouTube videos and tell me I'm wrong.
And you are right when you say everything would be solved if he would caddy for Dave.
Oh my God.
During the Brooks match, but in that same breath, we say there's no way he would do that because he doesn't see how much that would solve a lot of his problems, and that's really it. He's just not going to do it.
It would be over, man. Brooks would like dap him up and be like, "Thanks, like that was funny." Something like that would happen.
I think we said on a previous podcast when we were talking about the match where you then have Dave as an ally.
Dave is an ally. Everyone there, 1,000 people at Liberty National, all rooting on Dave versus Brooks, and Bryson's there holding it, teaching Dave how to hit shots and where to go. It's over. It's over. The entire bullshit Brooksy stuff is done. It's done. He's just so dumb that he can't figure it out. He's the smartest guy on tour, and he's this fucking dumb. It's the difference between street smart and book smart. He is the dumbest street smart person I've ever met in my entire life.
I thought what Rory said, obviously, what Rory kind of.
By the way, Lurch is here. Have we talked about that?
Hey, Lurch.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
How are you?
Sorry to cut you off.
Not bad. How you doing? Just listening in for the last 15 minutes.
You've
Good
been a
conversation.
Thank you.
How do you think we?
Exactly.
How do you think we've handled this?
What do you think is right, and what do you think about what the PGA Tour said?
So we're like, you're both kind of on the same side where it's like, it's right. Like, you're a loser if you say it. It's crazy that the PGA Tour like stepped in and said this. I don't think that's the right path. But the problem is, like, Bryson can't handle this. He can't be a person. He can't just like diffuse the situation up front. So now it's escalated to a point of like no return. And so I kind of like the unity on the PGA Tour side. And now if like Riggs gets a petition signed by, I think that actually has some validity. It isn't the worst thing I've ever heard, because like when players stand up for him, that is going to be the best outcome of like, just shut up and chill out. Like, you're all losers if you're saying this to Bryson. So I think we're kind of in a middle ground with like 7 right answers. We'll pull the strings a little bit and help the situation diffuse and like die. I do think it's come to a point where now enough people have weighed in and said like enough that I think it will slow down, because, you know, the Instagrams and the Snapchats of like the one person that sees them in wherever part of the country to gets a rise out of like, you know, whatever their social media is so stupid. And it's like gone to a point now that it's just like enough.
You'd almost hope that the PGA Tour would work more behind the scenes and motivate answers like the one that Rory gave without them having to make this big show and say, you're banned, you're getting thrown out if you say Brooksy. Because I think we all agree that players saying we have sympathy for Bryson, we think it should probably stop. It's gotten to a point where it should probably stop. I think that is the best way. I think we all agree also that the PGA Tour coming out and saying you're going to be banned is not the right move. The players, coming through the players is the right way.
Jake, can you start on a graphic? Okay. And I think that the graphic should say, we do not support the PGA Tour going as far as ejecting people for calling Bryson Brooksy. However, and then in like, well, something along that, but then in like large letters,
still know how to
you
do
are
business.
you are a fucking loser if you call Bryson Brooksy. And then, you know, we'll do something along the lines of like, we're inviting everyone to sign this or share this as support for this sentiment. Something like along those lines.
Change.org, I think it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think you can do that, right?
But I think
come up with a petition.
I think Riggs is right. I think you make it a social graphic, because that's kind of our world, where if you share this, then you clearly agree with what we're saying.
Okay.
And it'll go more that way.
And then I would say each day we could even update the graphic with all the names of people that have shared it. And if we actually don't end up getting any names, then we'll just ignore it and we'll forget that it happened.
Right. We'll just say we won't acknowledge it ever again.
Right. That's correct. We'll let it disappear. We'll just tweet about other stuff for a few
If he
days.
just shows up to the match on Tuesday, it's over.
It's over.
It's such a simple.
Yeah.
I want to like shake them. I want to shake them like Adam Sandler does.
And then give him a hug.
in
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. Just fucking figure it out, man. You just got to show up to Liberty National on a Tuesday. It's as simple as that.
Owen's Mixers. So Owen's Craft Mixers. They're our title sponsor. They're our supporting, our biggest supporting partner really for the last year and a half. They worked with us to create our own drink, the Barstool Transfusion, which is fantastic. People have been enjoying it coast to coast. Trent's got one right in front of him. Frankie's got a couple in front of him. It's simple concept, right? They just invented delicious mixers, and you pour them in with your favorite liquor of choice, and you have a really, really, really good cocktail, from a Paloma to a Transfusion to a margarita. They got margarita mix now. They got all kinds of good. Their mint cucumber and lime has been long time been one of my favorites. You can go to owensmixers.com. Check out their store locator. Find a store that has Owens near you. You can also go to Amazon. You can get next day shipping. You can find Owens at CVS, Kroger, Publix, Ralph's, Total Wine, lots of other retailers. We just love Owens Mixers, don't we, fellas?
That's right. Right here on the can, it says, "Hello, friends. You're holding the premier ready-to-party cocktail mixer, brought to you by Barstool Sports and Owens Craft Mixers. It's ready to go wherever you go," which I like. The golf course, your porch, a party. All you have to do is add a shot of vodka or make it a double if you're not up to par. Whoever wrote that's witty. It's just as simple as, you want to drink, but you don't want to have to go to a mixologist course to figure out how to do it. Just fucking take this mixer, throw it in a glass, add some ice, whatever your choice of spirit is, and you're ready to go. You're just a mixologist. You're a bartender. You're a server. You're now a party person. You are an entertainer.
What's the history behind calling alcohol spirits?
I don't know. I really like it, though.
Yeah,
I'd love to know that.
Yeah, I would too. It really brings like a different sort of vibe to what you're trying to do.
Yeah, if you say I'm in the spirit business,
Right.
you've got everyone's attention.
Yeah, but then you're like, oh,
You say I'm in the alcohol business, you got like a problem, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You should.
Spirit's like energy. The booze gives you energy.
We
It-
might
it
do
makes sense.
a live Frankie fact if you ever figure that out over the course of this podcast, because I would like to know. But all you got to do is mix those spirits with some Owens mixers, and you're good to go.
We got a couple explanations here, so we'll do it after.
Okay.
Do it after what?
Well, you were about to speak. I thought you were going to finish it off.
I was going to go into a topic because we've been doing Owens for a couple minutes now.
sorry.
I figured we were good. No, it's okay.
No, we're not good yet, Riggs. I'm going to read off exactly what a spirit is.
Please.
And why we call it spirits.
Please.
Back in the day, Middle Eastern alchemists were more concerned with medical. These are ridiculous words. Elixirs. Okay, what is that?
It's like a potion.
Back in the day, Middle Eastern alchemists were more concerned with medical elixirs than with turning lead into gold. The vapor given off and collected during alchemical process.
This is really exposing.
This is going so well.
This isn't the way it's
your
written.
ability to read, really.
What I'm picking up is that they used it medically, and that's why they would call it.
Today, Junior.
These words are insane, and the
Yeah.
way it's written, it's like it goes down like a scroll. So like half
These
the
words, they wrote them left to right, and
No.
I don't understand.
Left around, top to bite, group words together.
half
makes
the
sense.
words have a dash next to them because it goes on to the next level, the next sentence. So it was a fucking nightmare. Here's another example. Monks in Europe during the 12th century believed that the spirit was removed from the mash during distilling process. To this day, some European rye whiskey drinkers still pour out the first shot onto the ground in order to give the angels their share.
I like that. See, that's
There we
way
go.
better. That one you could actually read too.
Yeah, don't
you
you
can
wish
hang
the
your hat on
first
that one.
definition first?
You know how when
Yeah.
you're reading something sometimes and it's zoomed in, it'll give you the dash and continue the word on the next line?
Yeah.
That's what was happening with all these alchemist lines.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
there you go.
a spirit is a specific
Oh,
liquor.
Your voice sounds horrible.
Are you all right, Jake?
No, I'm not. I'm getting run off from what Frankie had. The term spirit refers to a certain distilled beverage that has no added sugar and that has at least 20% alcohol by volume.
You just gave the definition.
You just gave
Yeah,
a
that's what
definition
it is.
of
You
what
said what's
alcohol is.
You said what's the difference between a spirit and a liquor?
No, we wanted like the angel one.
Yeah.
Why is it called a spirit?
Ah.
Where
Right.
did it come from? Where did it originate from?
I
Frankie
know what
facts.
it is.
I know what alcohol is.
I thought you guys wanted the difference.
I
between
love
the
it. Good chime in, Jake. That was good. I enjoyed that.
See you at 90 minutes.
All right.
How close are we? Oh yeah, we got about an hour. Jake, keep your head on a swivel there. You get a chance to redeem yourself in an hour. All right, James Hahn had a very funny tweet. He said, "It's official. Calling Bryson anything but his real name will get you thrown out of a golf tournament. So if any one of you call me Kevin Na, Danny Lee, or Sangmoon Bae, we're going to have some problems." Very, very funny tweet right there. Of just kind of, again, shedding light on some of the shit that these guys hear and just being called the wrong thing. That would actually be a really funny segment when you have certain people on. It's just what's like the most common wrong, person that you get called.
Must happen all the time. It must happen constantly.
Big time.
And I don't know, sometimes we'll just see somebody walking down the fairway and you just like, I kind of know who that person is. They have the similar body type to someone, but then it ends up being someone completely opposite. Because a lot of those guys, a lot of just like what they wear, it's all very similar. Like we thought that one guy was Bubba Watson when we were out at Liberty National. And it just
just because he was left-handed, basically.
And he wore a visor and we're like, oh, that's Bubba. It was like, nope.
Still don't know who that was.
No clue. That's a funny tweet by James Hahn, though. There
was a lefty wearing a visor hitting like a massive 3-wood with a crazy like whipping action as his follow through. And it wasn't Bubba Watson.
That was incredible that it wasn't him. I don't know. We just didn't.
There was somebody on the tour though, 100%.
Well, yeah, it was a PGA Tour event.
It is a.
I know, but I just didn't know if that was earlier in the week where maybe somebody else could be hitting at that time.
No, it was a professional golfer for sure. And we we saw him.
I was actually going to side with Lurch because we did talk a lot about the Pro-Am.
No, we saw him on the putting green like the next morning. Remember?
That's
and
right,
he was you and I were like, "Oh, that's who that was." And we couldn't remember the name. I'm sure you just look up left-handers on tour. This guy, I'd never fucking seen him before. Apparently he's never on TV because we pay a good amount of attention to professional golf. We're not experts, we know that, but man, we had never seen him before, and he did look just like Bubba, having the whole lefty situation going on.
I might have to follow James Hahn on Twitter if he's funny on Twitter.
That's a good tweet. You can tell too that had just been something that's been on his mind forever because he's like, "Oh, I finally got a way to kind of express that this happens to me all the time." And makes you think. I'm sure it does happen to a lot of different guys all the time. It's probably pretty fucking annoying. All right. I've got some interesting drama that I would like to discuss that relates to golf and golf Twitter. And it comes from a notice that really pertains strongly to this realm of golf Twitter that we've dabbled in a little bit, but usually in a ricochet fashion. We've kind of dabbled in it. It's come up a few times. Dave Portnoy actually dabbled in it at one point last year during the Masters tournament. And it has to do with the professional golfer tracking community.
Okay.
Now, if you recall, about a year or so ago, I believe this podcast had to issue a formal apology to, I think, TW Spot, which is an amateur Tiger Woods tracking account who runs Instagram and runs Twitter. The reason I call it amateur is not in the product, but there's Tiger Woods Tracker, who is a professional journalist who has Inside the Ropes access, who can literally comment on everything that Tiger Woods is doing. The amateur version is someone who's just at home with a computer trying to track Tiger around the world. We got to do it with this figure because I think, dragged him through the mud for no real reason. And then he started just demanding apologies from us on Twitter. And ultimately, we agreed that it was inappropriate for us to drag this person, and we apologized. People actually suspected that it might be us running the accounts.
I think that
Trent was running the accounts.
Yeah, I think that was part of the dragging, where I just decided to claim that since it's an anonymous account, that it could just be me. Yeah, and I still stand by that, actually. I don't know if that's still part of the apology, but I could still run that account. You just don't know.
Tail between our legs, we apologized. I think maybe Frankie issued an apology, and we as a group apologized to this account for slandering their good name. Well, since that time, this account has spearheaded a group of trackers under the brand name of Nuclear Golf, Nuclr. They have a website, and what this anonymous account, Tiger Woods Spot, I believe was the original, led to was a conglomerate of tracking accounts who live and breathe to track their respective favorite golfers. And I saw something that came across my radar 2 days ago. This is a public relations release from Nuclear Golf, and it's August 30th, 2021. It's an update on our trackers and the future. Okay? This is what this says. And I'm going to go through and read this release. It says,
Please.
When trackers first joined us, we made clear to them that 1, we would never control their accounts. 2, never control the contents of their posts. And 3, never force them to stay with us if they no longer wish to do so, regardless of their reasoning. It then goes on to say, while it may be easy for folks to speculate that some form of drama went on behind the scenes with folks on our team, or with our first successful product launch, that could not be farther from the truth. Every tracker can independently confirm this. We were always respectful and supportive of one another while advancing our mission to deliver accurate updates for some of the game's best players. Now, I'm going to pause and say that what they do is an extremely worthy and noble cause. These guys love the fucking game, okay? There's tracking JT, there's tracking Spieth, there's tracking Lowry. If you remember Shane Lowry, when Dave was getting into Lowry Tracker turned up that even though he loved the game, like he was at work and he just couldn't update sometimes. So these people are trying as best as they fucking can to update folks. They got brought on under this Nuclear Golf tracking umbrella, and they're now having some drama where it seems there are some fractions amongst the group.
Although they are saying that is not the case.
Not the case.
They said, and very clear, that while it may be easy for folks to speculate that some form of drama, and again, it is easy for folks to speculate, some drama went on behind the scenes with folks on our team, with others, that could not be farther from the truth, and every tracker can independently confirm this. They go on to say, we are forever grateful for every tracker that has ever collaborated with us. Very nice sentiment. Since we launched, Nuclear has always intended to shine a light on some of the hardest working trackers in the community while doing so in a team environment that we had never done before. They go on to say, this is where, in my opinion, it starts to get really good. We could state again with absolute confidence we have always done everything we possibly can. As the season winds down, some trackers have decided to move forward on their own. These decisions did not happen quickly and were discussed at great length. We completely respect these choices and wish at Tracking JT and at Tracking Phil nothing but the best. They run incredible accounts, and we cannot thank them enough for everything that they've done. So, boys, we have 2 accounts, okay, Tracking JT and Tracking Phil, who have decided to separate and go off on their own. And I will now read the statement from Tracking Phil, who tweeted out yesterday, I believe, maybe 2 days ago.
I can't believe I didn't see this on Golf Channel.
Just want to let everyone know I have
Good
made
Morning
the decision
America.
to leave Nuclear Golf.
I got a couple questions once we're done here.
Please let me finish, Trent.
Sure.
I enjoyed working with the guys there. Think they have great ideas. They're going to do well, but I feel that it's time for me to move on. I missed being solo and having my own profile. Tracking JT tweeted a little bit less profound, I would say. Not sure how many of you care what I do with this account, but I should clear up that I did part with Nuclear Golf. I just have more fun and enjoy things when I do it solo. A lot of respect for those guys.
Dude, what is
I
Nuclear
like JT
Golf?
way more. I don't know, but I like JT's stance. The first opener of not sure anybody cares, but I've left Nuclear Golf. Way better opener than taking it the serious road and just like very formal. So,
I don't know, man.
yeah.
I think I like my trackers acting like they need to send
me
out
too.
press releases. They just got done talking to their agents and their team's agents, and they had to come up with the perfect press release as to why they can't be a part of the conglomerate that is Nuclear Golf.
I guess my number one question is, what's the benefit of being under the nuclear umbrella?
It's unclear, Trent. So
Okay.
I know they had this
Good name.
product launch recently. I don't know if they get a cut of that.
What kind of product are we talking about?
Is
They
it
got
just like
water bottles, tumblers.
Oh.
I was looking at.
You got swag?
It's also
got some swag.
It's also, and I'm not Sherlock Holmes, but it's pretty clear that though Nuclear claims that nothing happened behind the scenes, something happened behind the scenes with tracking JT and tracking Phil.
Big time.
I'm trying to put the pieces together. And I think that's
absolutely
it.
Trent. And I hope maybe we could bring those guys on and try to explore and get to the bottom of what could have occurred. Because anytime there's a release that says, well, folks are speculating there was drama behind the scenes, we can confirm that there wasn't. I mean, something happened, right?
That is
they
true
don't
because
just...
I can't go on Twitter without seeing speculation that there was something going on behind the scenes.
Someone wrote on that tweet, first of all, they turned off all responses. That's how serious it is. You can't even reply to it.
Yeah.
Someone wrote, this has to be a fucking parody account.
Also, what's stopping... Again, I don't want to start a war. I'm actually just learning about this. This is the first time I've heard about any of this. But what's stopping the Nuclear conglomerate from just making another tracking JT and tracking Phil account, and they give it to somebody else, and then they still have those two players under their umbrella?
I don't know that you can just replace talent like that, Trent.
Okay.
I think if it was that easy, everybody would just be running Nuclear Golf tracking conglomerates. But I don't know. I think if you lose that talent, it's tough to replace. It probably doesn't come off as authentic as it did, right? I mean, these guys live, breathe, and die tracking their guy. And if they want to take their talents elsewhere or pursue independent options, it's nice, I guess, that Nuclear Golf allows them to do so without any drama whatsoever behind the scenes.
And to be clear about the tracking community, like Tiger Tracker, the official one that we all follow and loved and thought was a great account, part of the reason that was so special was that person was going to every single event that Tiger was in. And he was literally standing next to Tiger, giving us updates on what's going on. These other trackers, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, are they not just on PGAtour.com watching the updates of essentially what's a game cast and then tweeting out what's going on with that particular player? Right.
But from my vantage point, which we could be wrong, we're not experts on the community. We're just from afar. We're kind of, this is what we see. But I think they're basically just transcribing onto Twitter what gets posted onto ShotLink on PGA Tour.
And I would argue there is real value in that. Because
absolutely.
So as it is right now, you follow Nuclear Golf and you just get nonstop updates about all things PGA Tour you won't know exactly who's giving it to you. Is that why those guys broke away? Because they wanted to be part of their own accounts?
They want to be autonomous.
Right. So Nuclear Golf, you don't know exactly who the updates are coming from, right? They just gave the log and info to all these trackers.
See, I was under the impression that Nuclear the Twitter account, again, correct me if I'm wrong, is just a place where all these tracking Twitter accounts live, but the other accounts still live tweet their own players' action.
Wow.
That's right, Frankie. I would equate it to Nuclear Golf is Barstool Sports.
That's how I was thinking about it.
But they don't retweet.
Frankie,
they tweet it like they tweet them out. Like Nuclear Golf's the one who's tweeting out the updates. It's not like they're retweeting Phil and Tiger and JT.
See, that's a mistake on Nuclear's part.
I can't even find the account. Can anybody?
You're
on
the
Twitter
worst internet user of all time.
They have a full-blown website that would have complete tracking and updates of the best players in the world, round summaries. So I'd imagine it'd be like a blog. It's a website.
So just like the PGA Tour app?
And it's a website, and they have it seems like a Discord where you can discuss your favorite players with other like-minded super fans.
I love that these guys think that they know what happened on the golf course before anyone else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, there is no need for this business. You understand what I'm saying? Like when the information becomes available, what Bryson DeChambeau did on the golf hole, we will know at the same time as Nuclear Golf. Because it will have just happened.
I don't know. I don't know, because if you're not on that tour cast and you're not on that specific player, you can curtail. Don't you diminish what they do.
Right. Well, this is where it's applicable, and it's where this whole thing started with us, at least, where Dave was at the Philly gambling house gambling on Shane Lowry.
Yes.
And Shane Lowry was not part of the broadcast that was currently being aired on television or any of the streaming services. So for updates on Dave's bet, he needed someone who was specifically tracking Shane Lowry. And the only person who was doing that, tweeting on updates, Dave's not going to go to Shot Tracker and
Right, but he
figure out-
could have, is my point. Instead of following Shane Lowry on Twitter, he could have just followed a scoring app at the same time as Shane. You know what I mean?
I think it's more it's easier, more easily digested if it's in a tweet.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same reason why I get it. It's like beat writers in fucking baseball and hockey, but Dave always shits on those guys too. Where it's like a touchdown will happen, they'll be like, the Texans have gone up 7-0 in the.
But
in
that
the
football game is on TV.
Right, I know. But just these like reporters, I laugh about it all the time with hockey.
You diminishing the tracking community is
I agree,
incredibly
Frankie.
There's
disrespectful.
like this
agree.
guy
It's
Arthur
actually-
Staple for the Islanders. He's just like, the New York Islanders are up 1-0 after a goal by Anders Lee. It's like right next to the Islanders tweet about it. It's like that guy's job just to repeat what happened. I don't understand. Yeah, it's
Wow.
nuts. Sorry.
I mean, it's crazy.
I like
It's
Tiger
almost
Woods.
like you're mocking these
No,
professionals.
I'm not, because I actually like
Frankie?
Tiger Woods tracker. I like our guy.
Yeah. Easily the best
Yeah.
one because he was at every event. And that
But
actually
also
makes it
he was
different.
there in
You could
person
argue that every shot that Tiger hits is on TV. So why do you need Tiger?
because he did different stuff, man. Like he was letting you know about like the vibe on the golf course, and Tiger making like winking at people, or like you were able to get you felt like you were there with Tiger because he was physically there. Tiger Woods tracker. You know what I mean? And listen, I don't want nuclear to start coming after me.
You
Because
might have a press release.
I don't want a press release.
It sounds like you do. It sounds
I
like
just
you
want them
don't
to-
think there's a purpose for nuclear golf
I
and
just-
subsequent trackers.
The thing that got me was where they tweeted out themselves. I think it'd be better umbrella if I could follow nuclear golf and I could see all the different accounts tweeting about what happened in that given day. I don't like that nuclear takes a voice and a name away from these guys who are, they're deep in the interwebs of golf. And
That I agree with. I've yet to, again, I hesitate to say this because
they do scare me.
right. I don't know yet what the benefits are of being under the umbrella. Maybe they have part of the revenue share of the merch that's sold. Maybe they are open to other opportunities that within nuclear. I don't know those things. But to me, if I was a tracker, I would just be I'd be a lone wolf, I think.
I mean,
I would
there was
like
another.
to find out who's under the umbrella of the nuclear tracker and what their justification is for taking their talents to nuclear golf.
Right. I'd also like to know.
These are my favorite tweets
So I'm
ever,
on Nuclear Golf looking at the people that they follow. And
Yeah.
you can just go right down the list of all the trackers, like tracking John Rahm, Phil Mickelson tracker. It would be interesting to get the take from these people of what the benefit is to be on Nuclear
Right.
Golf.
August 15th,
Right.
they sent out a tweet with one of those the sirens, right? That was breaking news. I would like to thank at Spieth Legion for all of his tracking and content during his time with Nuclear Golf. He is one of the hardest working and loyal accounts, and I enjoyed his collaboration. I wish him nothing but the best as he embarks on a journey to take his account in a new direction. And then he finished it with the praying hands.
How many followers does Nuclear Golf have?
I think it was like 3,000.
Like 3,500.
I'd also like to know who is the tracker for the lowest ranked player.
That's
Could
what
be
I'm trying to
Shane
Who's
find.
the lowest ranked player that is tracked? That's a person I respect. I respect all these guys, but Spieth
Do
and
you?
JT tracker and a Tiger tracker, like that's an easier job to have. When you're tracking,
Up and
again-
comer, they've got Akshay Bhatia,
Yeah.
that youngster.
Scott Harrington tracker.
okay, now we're talking.
Okay.
So Frankie, you're telling me now between Spieth Legion,
Yeah.
tracking JT, tracking Phil, we've had 3 big exits in the last few weeks.
Yep. Something's happening.
Something's going on now.
We've got an Anthony Kim tracker, and in his bio it says,
Hasn't been that busy, I would
patiently waiting for AK's return. Damn it, please come back.
imagine. That guy just he picked the wrong horse.
Yeah.
to keep his active
In
to keep his
July.
account active.
In July, I guess he retweeted a picture of Anthony Kim like walking down the fairway out at the Open, and he goes, "Two legends. World was a lot better place 10 years ago," with a sad face.
I guess you pick one guy, and I guess you can't pick another. You got to have loyalty to that guy forever.
We're going to get deeper into this, obviously, but first, to unjunk your sleep, go to mattressfirm.com or a Mattress Firm store today. Speak with a sleep expert. America has a problem. Everyone's exhausted. They're out of it because they're not sleeping in a bed that is just right for them. The sleep they are getting sucks. This problem has a name. It is called junk sleep. Mattress Firm is going to change that, all right? They're going to change the way that you sleep. You're going to be as comfortable as possible. They curtail it specifically for you, right, Frankie? They go and they take the way that you sleep, the patterns in which you get your sleep, and then they create a mattress just for you.
It's a quick little quiz, and it's also a lesson in how you sleep. You don't realize how you sleep. Once you're answering these questions, it really opens your eyes as to what kind of bed you do need. What's the position that your head is on? Your head is in when it's on a pillow. Do you have multiple pillows? Do you need something that's more supportive on your shoulders? Are you tossing and turning while you sleep? So there's like 6 or 7 questions that you have to answer, and it gives you, it culminates everything that you need into one little list. And from there, you just buy your mattress. And there's a plethora of mattress companies under there. You've got Tempur-Pedic, you've got Beauty Rest, you've got all the top ones. I will be getting a Mattress Firm mattress when I do move into my new abode, my humble abode. Mm-hmm. Because it's just the right choice, man. You just got to figure it out. Buying a mattress is not that easy, and they make it easy for you. It's a tough decision. It's like, where are you going to rest? Don't you sleep like a third of your life away or something like that?
Yeah, well, think about it. If you get the 8 hour, the recommended 8 hours, that's a third of every day.
Right. You sleep. You're on this thing for a third of your life.
Actually, I was thinking about that the other day.
Unless you die early, then it's less.
That's true. But if you sleep, let's say you sleep 8 hours every night, which rarely people do, but if you do, and you live to your, 66 years old, you slept for 22 years?
Yeah. It's true.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like
22 years you were just asleep.
That fucked me up the other day.
Well, you better be asleep at Mattress Firm with a Mattress Firm sleep expert hook you up with your mattress. They've partnered with us for the champion versus champion match.
Dude.
Frankie's having a tough time with that
just
one.
hit you in the wrong way.
Bro, you're asleep for 22 years?
Yeah. Serve a jail sentence. Just sleep through it.
I was thinking about that the other day. Swear to God.
What the fuck?
If you live for 75 years, you're asleep for 25 years.
25 years.
What are we doing?
You gotta cut it down to 7 hours a night. I think is the takeaway.
We gotta figure out how to
Might save you a year.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Riggs.
What if they could just enjoy, first of all, let's get through this. To unjunk your sleep, go to mattressfirm.com or use a sleep expert that you could talk to at a Mattress Firm store. So go to mattressfirm.com, go to Mattress Firm store today, speak with a sleep expert. They've partnered with us for the Brooks Koepka Dave Portnoy match. So you're going to be seeing all kinds of Mattress Firm stuff next week on Tuesday. 25 years if you live to
My
75.
dad's been
and
asleep
you're getting,
for 20 years of his life.
Right.
Just been asleep.
Well, not that man. He's just constantly
Right.
going.
He works all the time. He's probably slept for 2 years. But I was thinking about that the other day, just like, and I had the same reaction you did when I thought about it because the math checks out.
I gotta be honest, that makes me want to fucking puke.
Right, because you think 22 years, again, basing it off the 66 years, like that's 22 years is just a lot of time. Like you think you're only you're in a waking state for actually 44 years. So are you actually 44 years old? No, I guess your body is still aging while you sleep, but you're only awake and interacting with the world for 44 of the 66 years.
And think about like commuting to work and back. Like how many years are you actually alive, man?
Right.
Like doing things. Is it in a 66 in 70 years? Is it less than 10 years of doing things?
Yeah.
Like if you sleep for 8 and you travel for 3 each day, and like when are you actually doing stuff? You're working. When are you doing things? Are you alive on your own as a working human being for like 5 years of your life. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
like if you take
Like
work,
if you bake in
sleep,
weekends and all the stuff, like when are you actually just enjoying yourself?
work, sleep, and
Commute.
You take all those things, you add all those up after a 70-year life. How many years are you wasting doing those three
Right, if you
things?
Bro, this is how like
65
this is how
years?
cults. This is how
Yeah.
cults get started. Of like, fuck society, fuck sleeping. We're gonna like go live on an island by ourselves, and I
I'm
think it's a
nauseous right
dangerous
now.
path.
Yeah.
I'm nauseous.
Yeah, because think about on a weekday for if you have like a normal 9-to-5 job, you work, you commute, you
Rob,
sleep.
my buddy Rob.
Buddy Rob,
He doesn't. He
who I
doesn't
love.
He doesn't laugh
Poor
at work.
guy.
His teeth are falling out inside his ham and cheese sandwiches. He fell down trying to get ornaments out of the attic, and he like broke his fucking arm and his leg. He's going to physical therapy right now for his finger because he slipped at the Mets game. I don't know if I told you that. He fell
didn't
down the
tell me
stairs, and he's going. He will never bend his finger the same way again.
So he works what 9 to 5,
Yep.
and then
Doesn't laugh.
What time? Doesn't laugh the whole time. He
Not
sleeps
once.
obviously 8 hours or whatever.
Yep.
What time does he probably go to bed?
I don't know, probably 10:30,
11. Let's say 11.
11
So
o'clock.
that is, say he gets off at 5. He commutes. He's home sitting on the couch at 6. So that's 5 hours a day
Yeah.
that you get to do something that you would like to do, and then you
And
just
half
do-
the time shit's closed, right? Like from 10 o'clock to 11, you can't do anything. You're laying in bed.
And you
But
gotta-
you're watching movies. You're enjoying life.
You got to factor in weekends. You have more time to do whatever you want. But I can't crunch the numbers right now. But it's
But
the
that's
number's not
roughly
going to be as high.
20%. So like if you live to 80, you're getting what, 18 years, 15 years? Is that right? No. What's 20% of 80? If you live to 100, you're getting
What's
20 years.
1/5 of 80? It's roughly
16.
a little over
You get
15.
16
So-
years of living your life.
Out of 80 years.
Out of 80
You
years,
got to
he's
stuff
got
all
16
that
good
stuff
ones.
into 16.
it's a scary proposition when you really start to break down the numbers.
True, there are
Telling you,
different
boys,
times.
move on out to Scottsdale, enjoy yourselves a little bit. You know, it's really starting to make you think.
What
Starting to
about,
make
like,
you think.
From when you're like,
It really does make you think.
when you're born to when
Yeah,
you're
I'm
10
telling you.
or something
Oh,
like that.
right.
You have a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
more
we're-
time.
But like,
When you're retired, you have a lot more time. But
Sure.
still, on average, you're losing a lot of time on this earth
But when
doing
you're-
fucking
but when you're-
bullshit.
but when you're 10, you're not doing what you
You're
want.
in
You're like,
school.
"Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to school. Oh, I'm going to daycare. It's like,
What's this boner about?
yeah, like you don't know. You don't have control. Once you have control, what is that boner about?
You know?
Once you have control,
How do I get rid of this hard dick I got right here?
Yeah.
What do I do? This is very
think,
inconvenient.
all right, now we don't have to really get into this, but jerking off is something we all like
It's a
to
nice
do, I would
time.
imagine. But that's
Why
taking
I'm-
up a decent
Probably
amount
why
of
I'm
time
getting
too.
elbow surgery.
Right.
Being
So
honest.
it's just
Doctor's like, what have you been doing all this
again,
time?
I would put that in the positive category. I'm not putting that into something. Although
Yeah,
it is more,
definitely.
it is more a matter of like function and just like whatever. But yeah, it's you start throwing all these numbers together, and we got like 12 to 15 years where we get to do whatever we want out of 80. Get your mattresses at Mattress Firm.
Yeah, Mattress Firm's great. Really good. Ryder Cup. So we got Phil Mickelson and Fred Couples were announced as the assistant captains for the Ryder Cup team just a few moments ago. Phil, I don't know that it was necessarily a surprise. It's kind of the boys' club. Fred Couples always going to get these kinds of nods because Freddie's the man. Freddie Boom Boom. Everybody fucking loves Freddie. So, yeah, I don't know that we have any hot takes about it. Phil, Phil's been on every team. So I think people are speculating, not to keep harping on speculation that could occur in the golf community, but people are speculating that this means Phil won't be a pick on the team if he's being chosen as an assistant captain. I don't know how much we buy into that. Tiger Woods was the playing captain at President's Cup. Obviously, it's not the Ryder Cup, but the President's Cup a few years ago in Royal Melbourne. But, yeah, anybody got any real thoughts on Phil being an assistant captain?
No real thoughts. I think you kind of nailed the nail on the head. Yep, you nailed the head.
The nail on the head.
You hit the nail.
Nailed the nail on the head, baby.
Two good morale guys. You know,
It's good to see Boom Boom walking around. Anytime you see that guy walking around a golf course, I feel like it's a good thing.
he's
I
a
got-
calming presence.
I FaceTimed him at Pirelli's after an Islanders win.
Is that breaking
Boom Boom,
news?
you did?
Oh yeah. I told you guys this.
Did you tell
I
it
think
to the
you've said that on
podcast?
the show. I think you've said
Yeah,
that
remember
on
I
the
was
show.
running around screaming, falling down the thing, and I called him Bam Bam. People got mad at me.
Oh, that's right.
Of course, we put it out as a fucking promo. It was like sometimes you just fucking say the wrong thing. It was all over on Instagram. Everyone was like, "This guy's a fucking idiot." But I FaceTime with
Bam Bam.
I called. It was nuts. You know, I mean, I can't even say the right word. I don't even know, dude. The other day I laid in bed and I tried to think of who the starting goaltender of the New York Islanders was. Just couldn't come up with it. I knew him, knew everything about him, knew the name, knew the number, could picture. I mean, knew the fucking team obviously. And I was just like, couldn't think of it. Had to look it up. That's how bad my brain is. So when I say Bam Bam, it's just because my fucking brain isn't working. Anyway, guy couldn't be more nice. I mean, and we know this. We've heard all the stories about fucking Freddie Couples. It was with Joe LaCava. He was at Pirelli's, and he just had caddied for him the week before, and we were talking. And, yeah, we had a nice conversation about the Islanders, about golf, about Barstool, about life. It was a nice conversation. Now that guy's just going to be in charge of the Ryder Cup. I like it. I like our chances with a guy like that and Phil Mickelson. Good morale guys. You know, a lot of history. I feel good about it. What I don't feel good about is the actual team and the morale. The team morale is what we got to be worried about. The captains are always going to be the good choices. Team hates each other.
They do. It's an enormous issue going into this whole thing at this point. And somebody had a great tweet that kind of went a little viral. I'm scrolling down to find it right now, but it was listing all of the relationships and the flaws in the relationships of the team, and the fact that obviously Bryson and Brooks hate each other. Jordan Spieth and Patrick Reed. Now, who knows if Reed? I mean, he's pretty much dying. It sounds like of pneumonia, so I don't know that he'll be a pick. But
I saw a tweet that he's driving to the turn.
Yeah, I saw
He's
that.
driving to Eastlake because they don't think that his lungs will be able to handle the cabin pressure.
I didn't even see that. Unbelievable.
No, it feels like if we're that close, like what are we even doing? Like
Insane.
if it's that bad,
A Dr.
nothing.
I actually read that on Nuclear just about a couple of minutes ago. So
Did
shout
you
out to
really?
shout out to Nuclear.
Great news source.
Nuclear
Telling you,
tweeted
man.
that out with no source. Just tweeted out that they heard this, that he can't handle the cabin pressure, is driving to Eastlake on a bus, and he had a practice round that was examined by a personal medical doctor at his house, and everything went fine.
Shout out to Nuclear.
No source.
No source, just Nuclear. Nuclear is a source.
Should we start just tweeting stuff out that just doesn't? We don't have any. We don't need a source. We just tweet out things that we think could be true.
I started doing that with the Islanders last year. I got a lot of, people were really putting in a lot of they trusted me, a lot of trust in my tweets or just Islanders news in general at one point. And I remember there was speculation that the Islanders were going to do something at the trade deadline, and I just tweeted out a picture of Lou Lamoriello thinking, and I wrote just the eye emojis. And I had even guys on the Islanders text me being like, "What is this?" And I was like, I don't know. I just wanted to stir something up. Just wanted people to think that something was happening.
You got to feel powerful.
I felt real good. Everyone was like, "What do you know?" I was about to write just nothing. I know nothing. I'm at a carnival right now playing fucking bullshit games. I know nothing.
But yeah, the Ryder Cup team is a mess.
We have Brooks and DJ don't particularly like each other. I mean, last year at the PGA Championship, Brooks started firing shots. DJ being like, "Yeah, the guy's only won one," and it sort of started to trickle out that the two of them may not be as close friends as everybody thought beforehand. So yeah, we've got this team now that, by all accounts, from a chemistry standpoint, from a locker room standpoint, is a complete disaster.
It is actually amazing how little I've thought about DJ and Brooks, about their relationship. Since this whole Bryson thing started, the DJ Brooks thing was the number one sort of rivalry, you could say, because of the PGA Championship stuff. And that was, looking back, that is so mild compared to everything that has happened between Bryson and Brooks now, that Bryson or Brooks and DJ is something that I don't even think about it anymore. But that's pretty amazing that we've come this far.
Yeah, there was a moment where it seemed like they despised each other last year.
Right, and I think it was all surrounding those PGA Championship comments.
And now, so I was thinking about this, and I know we've been talking a lot about the entire, Bryson Brooks thing that was, and what we're supposed to do. But I think it would be genius. I don't even know if it's genius. It could be idiotic. I think they should just pair Bryson and Brooks together first day, first round. And the reasons why are if they win, it solves a million things. There'll be clips forever of them high-fiving, of them smiling. It'll get rid of the Brooksy stuff because the two of them literally played together and won, and it squashes the entire thing. If they lose, it puts the Ryder Cup at the front of every news story, sports-wise, over the entire weekend, and puts everyone's attention on the Ryder Cup, because you will have drama, you will have the quotes from afterwards, you will have moments where like Brooks is rolling his eyes at Bryson, and you'll have complete chaos. I think you almost have to do it. Because if you just avoid it, then you're just adding to the giant elephant in the room that like we have two guys that fucking hate each other that can't play together. I think if you just lean right into it, there are more awesome outcomes than there are if you do anything else.
Right. Steve Stricker has to decide what headlines does he want, because he's going to get them no matter what. Like you're saying,
No matter what.
don't pair them together, headline. Pair them together, headline. But the benefit of them being paired together and winning changes the whole landscape of the rest of the Ryder Cup. I think you're right about that.
You almost win the Ryder Cup. If they go out there and they play together and they win their match, like, you just win the Ryder Cup, I think. Like, your whole team is just like, holy fuck, Brooks and Bryson came together and won for the United States of America. Like, it's everybody's positive. Everybody's rooting for Bryson. Everybody's like, we love you, Bryson. He's probably happy, and he gets this huge weight off his shoulders. I think you just pair them together first round. Like I said, you do run the risk of it being a complete catastrophe, but guess what? Then your ratings are going to be through the roof. PGA of America is going to be excited because everybody's, tickets are not going to be a problem. But I mean, everyone's going to tune in to be like, what the fuck is going on in Wisconsin up there? Like, Brooks and Bryson, the only thing that me, some average football fan, who the only thing I know about golf is that Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau hate each other because I heard it on Pardon My Take, and then I tune in occasionally to see ridiculous clips on Twitter. Those motherfuckers played together and they got killed, and they're like chirping each other in the media now, and all the other players are being asked about it. Like, the chemistry already sucks throughout the whole team. I think you just do it.
Yeah, Ryder Cup for sure. I was very against them doing it at the U.S. Open because there's no team aspect there. It would have been very awkward.
Yeah.
You would have tried to squash a beef for no reason, but Ryder Cup, I could not be more on your side. I think it's absolutely the go-to option. If he's not going to show up here at Liberty for the Dave Brooks match, he has to be paired up with Brooks day one on the same team.
It makes me angry at how little chance that probably has of happening.
I know.
I know.
Do we think
They're not creative enough.
Do we think Tiger Woods is going to show up to the Ryder Cup?
My gut says no.
My gut says yes.
Same. Wow. I think so too.
Fuck, you guys just got me really excited.
I think so too. He's been showing up here and there. You see pictures of him going to his kids' tournaments and soccer games, and he's walking around now. He didn't even have like the sleeve on his leg the last time we saw him. His ankle looked pretty exposed. Like, all he had was the crutches. Like, I think at this point we all know Tiger Woods is recovering from a surgery. It's not like he's hiding anything at this point. I think it'd be pretty normal to see him there, even if he had crutches on. It wouldn't be a shock to the system, which I feel like is what he tries to avoid, is these shocking images of him, like and him looking like less of a mythical creature as what we always try to perceive Tiger Woods as. I think he's done a great job with all the things that he's gone through to hide himself from looking really, really bad in public when he can. But at this point, Tiger, we can see you on a crutch. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, show up to the Ryder Cup.
We're going to be at the Ryder Cup.
I know. I'm saying, like, the country is allowed to see you now in a crutch. You don't have to hide that from us. We know that you're on crutches. So show up. Like be a part of the team. You're allowed to be hurt and still be there. You don't have to hide.
Right, what would be the reasoning for him to not show up?
Right. I always thought it would be like to not show him hurt or like not, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to be seen as a guy that's down bad. But at this point, like, you're not down bad. You're just recovering. Let's go. Like, be there. Limp around.
He lives
Who cares?
for this shit too.
He
lives for this. Remember we saw him at the President's Cup, Trent, 2017? He was out there.
Yeah.
He was on comms, and then he loved being on comms in 2019. Like, he fucking loves this shit.
Tell me this guy's not going to be in a golf cart whipping around Whistling Straits.
Oh,
I'm emotionally preparing myself for the Ryder Cup, just like how awesome that's going to be.
Tiger's going to be
and
there.
all the adrenaline that's going to be flowing through our bodies as we watch it. And I hadn't even thought about the prospect of seeing Tiger Woods at that event.
Tiger Woods is going to be there. I'm telling you, I have a feeling in my gut that this guy can't possibly miss the Ryder Cup.
That, like, then if you're Bryson and Brooks, like, you just put everything aside.
Yep.
Put everything aside. If Tiger Woods is going to get out there on crutches to watch the team, you guys can shut the fuck up for fucking one round of golf and steer this thing in the right direction.
Tiger Woods is USA Golf. It's who that is. You know?
Yes.
That's what it is.
I got a statement regarding if Tiger Woods shows up. It's going to affect my fandom. First, we got to remind people this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We're talking a lot about mental health. We've been talking about Bryce. We've been talking about mental health throughout, the country, the world, the discourse of the world over the last few years because people were stressing how important it is. Life's full of stressors. Doesn't matter if you are, it doesn't matter who you are or what you have. Your life is probably stressful, like we've talked about, from things you might hear on the internet to things that you're trying to get done. Maybe you're not sleeping enough. Maybe your life is too consumed with work and you're not focusing enough on yourself and on being happy. Who knows what the reason could be? We all go through a ton of stuff. You can unload the stress and get it out. You talk to someone who's completely unbiased about your life, someone who isn't going to judge you or take sides on anything. When there are things you can't tell anyone or feel like you can't unload to family and friends, you need to unload it. That's where therapy can help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't have to see anyone on camera if you do not want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Unload the stressors and get some unbiased feedback. You'd be pretty surprised at what you might gain from it. So see if it's for you. Go to betterhelp.com/Fore. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Fore. That's BetterHelp.com/Fore. Get 10% off and check out BetterHelp. It's going to be good for you. Trust me. So I'm on record as saying if Kevin Kisner's not on that Ryder Cup team, I will root for the Europeans. However, if Kevin Kisner's not on that Ryder Cup team, but Tiger Woods shows up, I have to root for the United States of America.
You're giving yourself an out here.
What's going to happen? What's really going to happen if Kiz isn't on this team and Tiger doesn't show up? You're really going to root for the European team?
Absolutely, because I've lost faith in the fact that our team doesn't want to win.
That's going to be really tough, man.
These colors don't run, baby.
That's going to be really.
They certainly
really
don't
tough.
run to the
I
Europeans.
can't root for a team that doesn't want to win. That's what the leadership will be telling me, that they don't want to win. They just want to run the same formula out there that has not worked in the last 2 decades. They just want to please the old boys. They just want to, as captain, be able to be like, well, I picked the guys that had the most points. What else can we do? They need to play better. They don't want to go do what Herb Brooks said, which where his answer was when there's like, oh, you left a lot of the best players off here. So I don't want the best players. I want the right ones. That's what that's what Herb Brooks said. That's what I need the U.S. leadership to finally say. That's why you've had guys like Jamie Donaldson has hit a winning Ryder Cup shot in the last 10 years, and we've got all these fucking prima donnas that have been playing for 20 years that can't win, that are fighting against each other, that are chirping against each other, that are going to the New York Times bitching about this and that instead of just showing up, being absolute savages in match play and wanting to win for their country. We get all this other bullshit. And if they continue to go down that route, Frankie, I have no choice but to root for the Europeans.
Okay, that's all fine and great. My question to you is, if they win, you're gonna be like mad. You're gonna be mad.
I will be rooting for the European team.
Oh
so if the
my
team that I'm rooting
God.
for doesn't win, of course. But they won't win if they do that. They won't
What if
win.
they just win and we're at fucking Whistling Straits and the United States won the Ryder Cup because Bryson DeChambeau drained
My point
the
is you can't win if you refuse to open your mind to picking the right kind of player.
You realize that you've made your bed, though. If they do win and Kisner is not on the team and Tiger Woods does not show up, you're not allowed to root for the United States. You will have to be upset when they win, and we're all partying
I want to
with
root
them,
for the
popping
U.S. team, but
champagnes.
what I'm saying is that I will not support a team that clearly is not showing initiative towards building a winning formula.
Here's what I want you to know.
Yep.
If Team USA wins and a member of that team says, hey, boys, you want to jump in this team room and party with us? I want to say the two names you put on that list are Frankie Borelli and Trent Ryan.
If you go in that room, I quit the podcast immediately because you
have to see it all the way through.
You have to see it all the way through. You have to go.
I'm going to see it all the way through. You
have to go
Let
with
me
the
say this,
losers.
if there are European players invited to that locker room, then I will be in there.
No,
for that party.
Oh my God.
Why not? I'm rooting for the European team. If they could go in there, I could go in there.
You are anti-American if Kevin Kisner and Tiger Woods are not a part of the Ryder Cup.
I'm rooting for the European team because I am taking a stand against a losing formula, and myself as an American that loves rooting for the American team.
No.
I am making a stand that I've had enough. I will not continue to stand for this format, this system that puts losers out there over and over again and doesn't want to look inward and pick the right kind of guys to win.
And what I'm saying to you is true love is loving something despite its flaws.
Woo!
Despite its flaws, you got to see it through, and you have to stand by what you represent and what you are a part of.
You must know something we don't, because I don't think Kisner's going to be on the fucking Ryder Cup team. You're about to root for Europe, and you're doubling down, dude.
What people do not understand, and what you're saying right now, is do you think Kevin Kisner should be on the team?
I think he should, but I don't think he will.
And why is that?
Just because of, like you said, because of the way that we do things on Team
Which
USA.
is bullshit. What do you mean the way that we do things? It's not like the way that we do things is proving winners. We lose every time.
I'd have more respect.
We lose all the time.
I'd have more respect for this if you didn't just give yourself the tiger out, because that's you realizing what's happening.
Big time.
That's not true. What I'm saying is, if Tiger Woods shows up in crutches, I have to root for that.
But why? It's
Tiger
the same
Woods.
system that
Same
did not
system.
pick Kevin Kisner.
He's not a
They
part of
went
that
through- No, he
system.
won't be a part of the system.
Tiger Woods is a part of that system. Tiger Woods is Tiger Woods.
The losing system.
You know
right?
that.
The
I know
system
that.
that you hate.
You hate that system.
You hate Tiger Woods' system.
I hate the fact that what Steve Stricker and those guys have done is not pick somebody like Kevin Kisner. Tiger Woods has not been part of this team that's picking right now. But if he
Right
shows
now,
up,
no, but Tiger
he's
Woods has
telling
been a
me,
part of the
as
system
an
for
American
20 years,
that
and you
shows up
hate the
on
system.
On crutches, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win.
You've historically despised Tiger Woods' Ryder Cup system.
I've despised the system that has continued to lose.
including the
But
Tiger Woods part of it.
Well, Tiger Woods has been part. Yeah, his record is not good.
Okay.
Riggs, I'm just saying.
Do you think his
man.
record is good?
No, I
No,
don't.
I don't.
think so.
I just.
So are you guys okay with just continuing to be like, yeah, keep doing what you're doing? It's so fun rooting for a losing fucking team all the time.
No, but I also.
So then you want to demand change. I'm trying to demand change.
Yeah, but
don't
I
keep
watched the
doing
Islanders
same
lose.
fucking thing.
I went to 1,400 hockey games. They never won a playoff series. I didn't start rooting for the fucking Rangers until they got a better player. I was
But
wearing their
don't you
fucking
go out there and
shoes
you
around.
demand like, hey, I want the system to change. I want you guys to change
Yeah,
coaching. I want you to
was,
change the type of
bitching
players
and
that you pick,
moaning.
right?
I still
But
fucking went to sleep with Islander gear on. I didn't just go buy a Rangers shirt to be like, the day you guys get a better player is the day that I fucking wear the Islander jersey again.
Being a fan
And-
is being there during the down years.
You ain't there, man.
We've been there during the down years. It sucks.
You're
It's
leaving.
still the down years.
We're still there.
We're still in the down years.
Ride it out,
I'm
baby.
literally
Pain
trying to
is
use
part
my-
of pleasure, baby.
But here's what you guys are just admitting and like accepting that they're not going to pick kids. The reason I made that entire statement is I'm trying to take a stand and say, look, I as a fan am sick of this fucking team doing the same thing over and over again and losing, and I'm going to take a stand and say you need to pick this player that will win Ryder Cup matches, and if you don't, we're fucking out of here because this is bullshit.
And then you hedged.
If Tiger Woods shows up on crutches after almost dying in an accident, Trent, that
No,
changes
that's
everything.
everything against.
Now, why
that's
don't you
everything
say,
against
if
your
the
system.
sun comes up that morning, I'm also still going to root for the American team.
Yeah, okay.
You're
The
not
sun
going
coming
against
up is
yourself.
clearly
You
as
created
common
this-
as Tiger Woods coming out there with crutches after almost dying in an accident and taking the baton and leading this U.S. That's quite different.
I
Than
respected
the sun coming up.
I respected the Kisner stance. I don't respect what you just did with the Tiger Woods thing because we all now know what you're actually thinking.
That if Tiger Woods, like, we just painted something that you yourself said, like, that's not going to happen. So I'm not like hedging. It's not like a guarantee that Tiger's going to come out. I'm saying if this unbelievable thing that you just thought wouldn't happen happens, I don't think I'm gonna have a choice. It's Tiger Woods
How many
almost
more outs
after
do you
almost
want? How many
dying.
more outs?
Hey, listen,
How many more outs you gonna
I
come up with?
love-
Now you're just now you're trying to muddy the entire thing where we just described a spectacular spectacular occurrence that
It is
you don't even think is
spectacular.
going to happen.
I will say I was in the minority. You guys seem to think it's going to happen.
It
It's
is
2-1.
It is spectacular. I do want to say that I agree with Trent that I too stand by the idea of you wanting to create change. I think that's admirable. I think it's psychotic that you will not root for the United States because they are not doing things the way that you want it to do, because that's the opposite of fandom. Even though your intentions,
Well, they just keep committing to losing.
your intentions are extremely of an extreme fan. You have intentions of an extremely good fan. You want your team to do anything that they can do to win. You just can't jump ship when they don't listen to you, or else every fan of every team would always not. It'd be willy-nilly. You'd be part of those Yankee Red Sox fucking knitted sweaters that kids get for fucking Christmas. It's an absolute joke. You can't be on both teams because one team's not doing what you want. And what I'm saying here is, you've made your bed. You have to sleep in it. You can't get in out with the Tiger Woods fucking little thing that you're throwing in there. You can't. You have to. If Kevin Kisner's not on the Ryder Cup team, Riggs is rooting for Europe.
I almost think you guys don't want Kevin Kisner to be on the Ryder Cup team.
That's absolutely not what it is.
that's
I'm
not
just
true.
a realist. I mean, we all just said last show that his performance in the last playoff, or in the playoffs in general, have definitely hindered his chances at making the Ryder Cup team. There's more of a chance of him not making it than there is a chance of him making
Definitely.
it, regardless of
Yeah,
what
in
I
terms
want
of
or not.
historically the way that they've done it, exactly, which is why I'm trying to make a stand for change. I don't like, they just keep throwing like points. It's not like Kiz is 50th in points. There's 12 guys on the team and he's 18th in like Ryder Cup points, and the Ryder Cup points don't even fucking matter. It's like, you don't go out and play for 2 years the Ryder Cup and see who accumulates the most points over 2 years. It's who steps up in a fucking match play environment on the first tee, who makes putts, and who wins matches. And Kevin Kisner has historically done that. So that's what drives me crazy.
I
It's
wonder
like,
who you'd take out to put Kiz in.
That fiery Kisner argument made a lot more sense to me 25 minutes ago before you said, actually, I'll also be rooting for Team America.
Who
if
would
Tiger
your
Woods shows
who
up.
would
now
you
you're
take
taking
out
all
for
the fire out of that point too.
Who would you
What?
take out for Kevin Kisner? I would love to know if you had if you wanted to go your way.
Well, let's look at this. Let's look at this list right now.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Let's look at this list, Frankie.
Because there's some good fucking golfers in there, you know? I mean, we're not talking about a bunch of schlubs. I know that the
It's
system
the
hasn't...
Herb Brooks. It's
I
Herb
know.
Brooks. It's not like we don't want the
I
best
know.
golfers. We want the guys that are going to win matches. That's
Tell
what
me
we
who
want.
you're taking
Through
out.
thick and thin, baby. Through thick and thin.
God, because I can't find one.
I mean, out of Harris English, Patrick Reed, Daniel Berger, I think like I could find a spot in those three for Kevin Kisner, who is 16-5-1 in his career match play.
I'll say that when I said I couldn't find one, I was only through 8.
It gets easier
Again.
there at the end.
Not 10 through 12 is a joke. Yeah, we could definitely
Well,
find a
no,
spot for kids.
but it's not. But and you're to support your point. Like then you have Webb Simpson, you have Scotty Scheffler, you have Jason Kokrak, Sam Burns, Billy Horschel, and 18th is Kevin Kisner. So like in those last three, right? Because you're going. Let's just list them all right now. Colin Morikawa locked, DJ locked, Bryson locked, Brooks locked, JT locked, Cantlay. Those are our top 6. Then you go Tony Finau lock, Xander Schauffele lock, Jordan Spieth lock. So now you've got 9 out of the 12.
Yep.
A lot of people thought maybe Phil Mickelson would be picked, but him being assistant captain, I think makes it very unlikely. He did win a major, but that's like his only top 10 in the last fucking 2 years. So it's really between like Harris English, who has played awesome golf this year. I think there's a very good chance they pick Harris English. Patrick Reed is Captain America, but he just got off a bed and literally can't get on a plane because they think his lungs will collapse. So I don't know that Patrick Reed could be picked. Daniel Berger, I think, is a pretty good choice. I think a lot of people consider him pretty fiery, but my thing is like if you're going to argue that Daniel Berger should be on it, like all of a sudden that like I'm going to argue Kevin Kisner should be on it. Like he's got
What about
like,
Scotty
a lot of those
Scheffler?
Scotty Scheffler is a good putter. Like I think Scotty Scheffler would be awesome on there. I think of that list, I would probably of those last 3 spots, I would go Kevin Kisner, Scotty Scheffler, and then I'd be somewhere between like Harris English maybe because he's had a phenomenal year and he's played really well the last 6 months. I think that's doing well, and I don't think you're making some crazy outlandish move picking Kevin Kisner, who everyone's like, oh, he really didn't play well like the last couple of weeks. Colin Morikawa didn't play well like the last couple of weeks. I get that he's automatically qualified, but it's like, are you going to not start him in matches now because he didn't win 2 tournaments in a row? Guess what? Like 15 days ago, Kevin Kisner won a PGA Tour event, so it's not like he's got the worst form in the world. So yeah, I think when you get to those bottom 3, there's ample room for you to throw someone like Kevin Kisner on there, and there's endless justifications. And the only arguments I ever hear back are like, well, he doesn't have like the same amount of Ryder Cup points, or they do the whole like Whistling Straits doesn't fit short hitters, where if you go to the last 2 major championships there, like the shorter hitters have finished inside the top 10 aplenty. Like, yes, long hitters have done well there too. Distance is always an advantage, but it hasn't been impossible for people that don't hit the ball a mile to contend at Whistling Straits. In fact, many of them have over the last 2 majors.
I like it. I like getting Kevin Kisner in there. I want Kevin Kisner in there. I actually think Kevin Kisner probably belongs in there over a Patrick Reed, a Daniel Berger, a Harris English, for sure. I mean, Kevin Kisner is a match play machine. He just knows how to win. He is a team guy. The morale in the locker room, he's a locker room guy. That stuff is, you can't quantify that with points. You're not able to. I mean, that's why you look at hockey rosters. Some guys get more money even though they've Matt Martin. Like, you look at his contract, you're like, why is a guy like that making that much money on the New York Islanders? Because the stuff that he does can't be thrown onto a stat sheet. He is the number one locker room guy. His foundation's amazing. What he does for Long Island is amazing. He would die for his teammates. That is why you need guys like that and a team aspect. So I agree with you. What I'm saying is, and I want that known, that I want Kevin Kisner on this team.
Me too.
If he's not on the team, I will still be rooting for the United States of America to beat the Europeans. It's as simple as that.
I go to bed sleeping well, that I know who I'm going to root for in this upcoming Ryder Cup.
And what you guys are just complacent. I get that. Like, oh, I'm just
No,
gonna
they're
sleep and
fans of the
everything's gonna be
country.
happy, and I'm just going to accept this bullshit losing for the last 22 years, even though we are the higher ranked team by
You
far.
should have
and are
to.
the
You should
favorites
have to move.
every
You should have to
single
move to Europe.
year. And instead, you guys are just complacent. You just like accept it, and we all just
No,
made
we're
these arguments. It's very clear. Like, we should have Kevin Kisner on the team, and I'm the one that took a stand for my guy Kiz and said, I am so passionate about this. People know how much I love the U.S. Ryder Cup team. I'm so sick of losing that I'm going to draw as much attention as possible to the fact that Kevin Kisner should be on this team, that I will declare I'll root for the other fucking team if Kevin Kisner is not chosen.
You can't,
so,
you
yeah,
can't.
of course I stand by that.
You can't
But
do that. Like, Frank the Tank is wearing feeble shirts for the Mets. He's the most negative anti-Mets fan of all time, screaming his fucking head off everything. He wants the team to change, but he still shows up the next day in a Mets shirt. He's still a Met fan. He doesn't walk around and he doesn't put ultimatums down that if the Mets don't fire their coach and get rid of all the feeble offensive players.
And he hasn't been able to
change it.
inflict change. He hasn't been able to
He's
inflict
tried.
change because he's not going far enough. I'm willing to go that far. I'm willing to say I'll root for the fucking Europeans if we don't get Kevin Kisner. I'm trying to draw as much attention as possible to the fact that we need Kevin Kisner, because I don't want to be sitting there during the thing being like, I got my USA thing on, I did all I could. No, I'm going to try to inflict it now before they make the picks.
Unless Tiger Woods shows up.
That might change things.
I
hope
just
he
think you
shows up
showed your
halfway
hand a
through.
little bit there. I'm with the rah-rah, Kisner on, I'm in, Kisner off, I'm out. But then when you're like, but if Tiger Woods shows up, I'm rooting for America.
I never
Come
heard that
on.
voice out of you.
That's showing your cards. That's
a
showing
mean
your
voice.
cards.
True.
That's
You know,
showing your cards.
do you
I
want
think
us-
everybody agrees with that.
Do you want us to ban him if he does that voice again?
That was
I thought the voice was good.
This Labor Day weekend, the U.S. and I'm not done with this topic. This Labor Day weekend, the U.S. Department of Transportation's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA) is working together with the law enforcement community to decrease impaired driving. NHTSA and local law enforcement are working tirelessly to spread the word about the dangers of drunk driving. Bottom line, folks, drive sober or you will get pulled over. During the 2019 Labor Day holiday period, 38% of fatalities in traffic crashes involved a drunk driver. 38% of traffic fatalities involved a drunk driver. It's insanely dangerous. You are putting yourself at risk. You are putting other people at risk. It's an awful thing to do as a human being for all of humanity. Do not drive impaired. Do not drive drunk. Make sure you got a sober driver lined up, or be sober. If you're going to drive, get an Uber, get a parent, get a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a friend, whoever. Get somebody to drive you sober, because driving drunk is incredibly dangerous. It leads to death. It leads to really, really bad injury. Now, for more information about Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign, hopefully I can get through this URL this time, because this, I think, is the third or fourth time that we've done this. You are going to go to trafficsafetymarketing.gov/get-driving/national-mobilization/peak enforcement kit with a dash in between all of those.
Nailed it, bro. You got it that time.
Fuck yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, you like that? Thank
Yeah.
you. So go to that link. We'll also put it on the internet so that you can just click on it, hopefully, if you can't recall that. But again, go check out the link. Go trafficsafetymarketing.gov, and then there's a bunch of slashes and stuff that you got to go to, which hopefully you can find. But drive sober, get pulled over. We don't want people driving drunk, do we, fellas?
No, absolutely not.
Nope.
Sickening when you see all the lives that are lost at, the hands of drunk driving, and whether you're not drunk and the person hits you that's drunk, it's just scary out there, man. It could come at any moment. So just if everyone just stopped doing it, the world would be a better place.
100% agree. The last point I'm going to make about the Kiz pick, which again, I think we're all on the same pick, that we want Kiz to be on.
This is like last time's podcast where you just get that last point.
Rigsy returns.
We do
Rigsy
have
No,
to
but
get to the FedEx thing too. We've gotten a couple good responses to explain it to old Rigsy boy in a little better sense than we did last time.
You guys are such idiots. The last thing is that Kevin Kisner in 2019 was voted the number one guy on PGA Tour that people like to get paired up with. So I think on a team with horrific chemistry, you probably want to have a guy that's well liked to compete.
It's a no-brainer. But if they don't listen to us, I'm not gonna start burning my jersey. All right, these colors don't run.
Mm-hmm.
One of the explanations that maybe will allow you to understand this a little bit better about the FedEx point system and why
You want me to do the voice? No.
and why Patrick Cantlay is starting with a lead would be similar to pole position, which I thought was a really good example, right? Like
F1 guys.
F1 guys. You're a big F1 guy now, right? Those
I
guys,
am.
Lewis Hamilton will go out there. He'll be the fastest guy on the track. They award him you can't give him the win, and you can't let him, and because he's the fastest and because he was the best, you can't have him start in the middle of the pack. Everyone can't go left to right. Everyone starts on the starting line. He gets the advantage of starting first because he was the best the day before. Does that make it? Is that a good comparison as to what the FedEx?
It's a horrible
does?
analogy. Just
why?
terrible.
Damn you
Because
people.
every
This golf
week
is-
they start over. Every week they start fresh.
Damn
What'd
you
you just say?
people. Damn you people. This is golf, not a rock concert.
Go ahead, Riggs.
That's good. That was good.
Fuck yeah. What do you
Good job,
mean?
Jake. Terrible analogy because every week they start fresh. It's not who's leading in the points for the year gets to just have pole position. Every single week they come in. On Saturday they do qualifying. Whoever is the fastest on Saturday at that independent event gets pole position on Sunday. It's not based on who has had the best year so far just gets to start in first. It's based on every single player comes in fresh. They start from scratch. Whoever's fastest in the round on Saturday has pole position on Sunday.
Yeah, but
I think we get
the
lost.
yeah, but you're trying to compare golf.
That was a
to
bad
the
example.
sports.
Can we
No,
agree
no,
that was a
no,
bad
here's
example?
what I
Can we
would
agree
say.
that was a bad
Here's what I
example?
would
Do the
say.
voice,
Here's
Trent.
BMW
Do the bad
is-
example, voice,
The
Trent.
BMW is the speed test before the
No,
pole
it isn't.
run.
It's its own race. It's its own Grand Prix.
But you're acting like each round that these guys play in doesn't affect a final number. Like they are
Trent
moving
Lurch,
towards
you gonna
something.
agree that was a bad example? You're
No,
gonna
they
No,
are
I'm gonna
moving
say-
towards something.
No, I'm gonna
be
say
honest,
that.
Patrick
gentlemen. I
Cantlay's
see that
finishes
look on
in
your
each week.
face. Can
Patrick
you be
Cantlay's
honest for me one time?
You don't restart. Patrick Cantlay is moving up the ranks as each fucking week goes by. Am I taking crazy pills?
Right, I think you're
you
still-
don't start at 0 each week.
It's-
Patrick
it's-
Cantlay's moving up.
We originally started this
In the pole
discussion
position,
about
you
like
base it
how
not on your
could
points,
we
you base it on the
try to
qualifying round.
figure it out a way to compare this to a thing that is we don't have a comparison for because it's so odd. So you do have to think about it in a different way. We talked about this in the last podcast about like the Stanley Cup playoffs, how Riggs, you were still viewing it as like an Eastern Conference Finals and a Finals, like, and now you're viewing
Which somebody said they get home ice advantage and home field advantage when they do win that. It's not just the white the slate is the slate
now
is
you're-
white clean. It's
what
not.
the-
Riggs was wrong
Right.
about that.
But with the F1 comparison, you're also trying to look at it like you're trying to see it as apples to apples when we said at the beginning of the argument that there is nothing because it's such a strange system. So now where you look at F1, the way you would have to look at it for it to make sense with this FedEx Cup playoff is looking at it like it is a qualifying weekend, not every single race every single week. That's the difference. It's like a semantic argument.
Yeah.
But then why don't they do that throughout the whole playoffs? How come they only do it for one event?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like if all of the playoffs are, it's like this regular season ends and the playoffs begin. There's 3 playoff events. You don't start with like a certain lead at every single one of those. Like, it's,
But they do
only
knock
choose
people-
to do it arbitrarily at the last
They
one.
knock people down though. There's like different qualifications for each. I just think we have to look at the 3 events as one thing.
Right,
And
that's
then
what
it goes
that's
into the finals.
Yeah, that's how I view it.
You have to think of like F1 as the qualifying race the day before is literally the whole season up to Eastlake is basically what that is.
Right.
And then Eastlake is the actual race day where the handicapping takes place, where they're a second in front of, leaders 1 second in front of second, 2 seconds in front of third, and so on. And so you just have to expand out the qualifying race day to be the whole FedEx, everything leading up to
Right,
Eastlake.
which like isn't the case. So that's like that, but that's not like
right.
what
It's a
they
little
do.
different, but to Trent's point, that's like the semantic. It's just trying to kind of
We're
establish.
trying to fit this into something
To
that does
something.
not have
It's
a
a round peg,
comparison.
square
That was the
Right.
only explanation I found that you actually someone the day before that performed or did better than the other guys was able to have an advantage by literally being in front of the guys prior that didn't perform as well.
It's not
You know what I mean?
perfect. It's not perfect.
It's not a perfect example, but it's the only one that was like, all right, this guy's in front, and the other guys are in the same race starting behind him.
That's right.
My answer is simply, I think that someone starting 10 under a golf tournament is stupid, and it's not the way that I would do it. You guys are saying this is the way you would do it.
No, we're saying it's
No,
also
I
stupid.
am.
and
Then why are you
I think
defending
I think I'm the only person that
We're
says
trying to make it-
like
I don't
the
know
way.
another way.
We're trying to make it make sense. It's not necessarily supporting it.
How dumb would it be if they you kept your score from the beginning to the end? Like Patrick Cantley was minus fucking 87
Bro,
right
that
now.
would be awesome. That'd actually be kind of awesome.
I would dig that a lot. I think that'd be great.
Really? Right,
Yeah, but
because
they
he's
would
not
never
a
do it
lock-
because they love the drama each week of
but
like
he's
having
not
to
a
win.
lock.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not a lock to win each week. Like perform each week. So like let's say he goes he goes 18 under the first week, and then the next week he goes 2 over because he played horrible. Like guys are gonna be in it. But yeah, you won't have individual winners, I guess. Or you still could. You'd be back to the 2 winners thing. You'd have a winner of the actual tournament, and then you'd have a leader after
We're
2.
back. That's
You
like
Which
have
is what
lost.
I love, by the way. I
That's
love
like-
the 2 winners.
That's like lost. We have to go back to the
They
island.
should, if they want to go back to 2 winner system, instead of the points, they should do that. You get an individual winner, but you also have a guy who has an overall score that's the best.
That's just what they used to do. No?
Yeah, but
you know what
there
this
was
feels
points-
like? This feels like cord cutters being like, what if we just took all the streaming services and we put them all together in one cable box,
Yeah.
and that's how we watch TV?
I didn't
It's
like how they
like
did
now
the
we're going
points, though. They
backwards.
should have just done to par. You know what I mean? Like the points always threw me off. It always should have been like I like the idea of someone being like winning the Tour Championship, winning the FedEx Cup, and being 87 under par because he fucking dominated.
That it would be
4
more.
weeks in a row.
It's more digestible than like a point
much,
system.
much more digestible.
Ooh, at the same time there. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels bizarre to me that somebody starts a golf tournament 10 under par. It's just not the way that I would do it. I understand that apparently there's just no great answer. I was a big fan of when they had the 2 things. I didn't think it was that crazy to just comprehend that there's 2 simultaneous like events going on, that you could win a tournament. You could also be crowned the yearly winner. I didn't think that was that wild with the fucking golf club and the trophy and all the shit. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought you got really awkward pictures every time of like the 2 things going on, which I enjoyed. But it is what it is. It's not like ruining my day. It is what it is. Patrick Cantley is 10 under par, and it is Wednesday at, 4 p.m.
Still
right
think John Rahm wins the whole thing anyway, so it doesn't matter.
now. Think so?
Was he 4 back? He'll be even with Patrick Cantlay within. He'll be all square after 9 holes.
If he's calmed down since Northern Trust, which
He's
not a
calm. He's
guarantee.
the best golfer on the planet.
Yeah,
He is.
he really is.
It's an interesting dynamic to think about starting 10 under par. Like, I bet it's not easy to start 10 under par.
No. The guy who's 8 under par makes a birdie, he's 1 back. It's just like it's not
Right, and like everybody
like,
thinks you
fuck.
should win because you started 10 under. It's like that's not the case
You
at
don't have
all.
a 10-stroke lead on everyone. You have
No, I know.
You're barely
Which
ahead
I
of the guys
actually
behind
think
you.
is kind of dumb the way they do it that way. That is the one like knock that I think I would give it, is that no matter what you do and how many points you're actually in front of the others going into Eastlake, you're only going to have a 2-stroke advantage on second place. Like if you're dominating the field, you're playing as well as Tiger Woods played in '08, and like just crushing the world, you're still only going to have a 2-stroke advantage. So like that's all predetermined, which
but you are
is
taking
probably
a lot of the field out, so it's to the advantage of the guy in first, right? Yeah, you only have a 2-stroke lead on the guy in second, but you also have you're taking positions 5 through 30 out of the picture essentially because you have a 10-stroke lead on them. So you only have to beat a couple guys, and your advantage then goes up immensely.
Kind of, but no, it's like if you have, say you have 5x more points in second, just an outrageous year, you're still going into the last tournament. Like the points that you're up don't equate to strokes being up on the field.
Yeah.
The strokes up, those slots are all predetermined, which I think doesn't make any sense.
You think it should be like a fluid system?
A fluid system of like X amount of points equals this amount under par, X amount of points equals this under par, to bunch it up and be more fair rather than just be like arbitrary. No, you're like 3 under because you're in this place.
I just like that it almost.
If you're going to actually rank it to how they played, it should be tied. Like that should be an equal algorithm.
I almost like how it almost guarantees the person in first place to lock up like a top 5 to me. You know what I mean? I like the fact that you're able to secure this guy for whatever amount of money because he won the regular season. He was the best player on PGA Tour that year, racked up the most points, whatever it was. That person shouldn't finish. If they have a really bad week, sure, they should drop all the way down. But if they play the way they're supposed to play, they should finish within the top 5 or just win because that's just the way they played. If everyone started in the same position and that guy finished in 30th because he played poorly for 1 week, that would be brutal. That would be absolutely brutal. It'd be like winning your fantasy football league for 17 weeks and then like you don't get any money back at the end of the year. Like, well, I just dominated the league for 17 weeks and because like you guys came up with this dumb system, I get no money back.
I bet that's never happened to you.
That happened to me, yeah.
Yeah.
1 year like, didn't give money to the league winner. It was like, well, it's arguably hard. It's so much harder to win the league for 17 weeks than it is for 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's impossibly harder
100%.
to be the best team out of 12 for 17 weeks than beat one guy 3 times.
I would almost like be more accepting of it if at the first playoff event they had people start staggered scoring based on their full PGA Tour season, and then they just kept cumulative score for 3 weeks. Like,
hold on, say that again. So you're saying that it's just their cumulative of whatever they've done for the whole PGA Tour year?
No,
what they're
what
under
I'm-
par? Okay.
No, what I'm saying is you do the staggered scoring like they're doing this week, but you start it 3 weeks ago at the first playoff event based on your entire starting, status on like the PGA Tour. And I don't know what exactly those numbers would be, but then you do cumulative scoring for the whole playoffs from that start. So someone has like 3 weeks to catch somebody else if they play that well, and then you have no points. It's just based on like score to par. So someone teeing it off at East Lake this week could be like 34 under par, and they've just accumulated that to this point. I could almost understand that because the playoffs have then become their actual own full consistent thing. But the only thing I don't like is that they choose the one tournament, right? Like they've gone from the PGA Tour season, which is like its own thing, and then you've now entered the playoffs, which is like a new thing. I think we all get that. That's common in every sport that we watch. But then they also, at the end of the playoffs, they do this completely unique thing that they don't do ever. And that's, to me, like where I get the disconnect.
It's certainly a crazy thing that they do.
I liked starting it in week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like, if we're going to all come together on one jump off point, I like Riggs' point of like, as soon as the FedEx hits, you start this thing that we're seeing at East Lake where people are predetermined.
I want credit for the
in.
cumulative score, though.
Okay.
I'll give you the credit. I think you deserve it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let's all. I mean, we can all. I wish we could all hug after this, but like we're in different places.
I would love to see a guy 50 under par.
Yeah,
It'd be great. It would be great.
Like that guy just has dominated golf courses for 4 weeks in a row.
and it would make more sense to do it that way. Because
I
right
also
now,
think you know how they put these stats out about like Tiger Woods from 1999 to 2005 was like 240 under par in major championships, and then like it'd be cool if when people teed off at the Masters or something, they were like cumulative score to par in the history of like their Masters. I think that would be awesome. Not that it actually has anything to do with that event, like that particular week.
Just to
but
show
if they just put that up there, I think that'd be awesome.
They should do more of that just to see
They
what
should.
it is.
It would help with betting too, because you'd look at a guy like Tiger and you're like, oh, he just eats up this place. Then you'd see a guy who you think's pretty good, and they're just like 8 over par, and like they're 5-star or 6 starts or whatever. I would like that. I like we're coming together.
I guess we are coming together. I guess we could put those numbers together.
We just crown our
You
own
know who
winner.
you're talking about here?
Somebody who listens to the show might be able to put those numbers together.
100%.
Oh yeah, do you think it's got to be someone else is leading aside from Patrick Cantlay right now, right? Cumulatively. What do you think?
Yeah.
Or no?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely, you think?
Not definitely. I back off the definitely. Because it's
they were super under par last week.
Oh, true.
See,
like him and
where
Bryson.
did it start? It started in Southwind. How many events was that? Is it 5? How many events? 5 events? 4
No,
events?
it's 3. Liberty National.
Liberty National, BMW.
Oh, right. FedEx Invitational is not part of it. Okay.
You're gonna do this right now?
We might have to reconvene next time and we'll talk about
Somewhat.
What
One
we're
of
going to
these
do is
one of these
we're gonna do is an ad read.
lunatics will tweet it at us.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're going to talk about Nomad Goods, boys and girls. Nomad started as a Kickstarter project 2012 with the goal of building ultra rugged and minimalist tools for the 21st century. Nomad, based in Santa Barbara, California, Nomad makes mobile accessories that not only look good, but are there when you need them the most. They really do have really cool, I got them on my AirPods. I think you got, is that what you got right there, Trent?
No, I have my wallet. I have a Nomad wallet that they sent me. I obviously use it every single day, and it's just Lurch has got one as well. It's real nice leather.
Right.
Obviously,
Genuine.
if I didn't trust it, I wouldn't use it because it's my wallet. It has the most important things in my life in it. It's got my license, my debit card.
Smacked it against the.
Frankie just smacked it against the mic.
They do see the integrity.
Yeah, they genuinely make great stuff. Really good stuff. And I know. I think I have the AirPod things. I just have not put them onto my case yet. But it sounds like you have, Riggs.
How many people do you think just ducked when I hit the mic?
Whoa.
Whoa. I do have the rugged brown leathery ones on my AirPods. They're awesome. It's just cool. It looks cool. It protects your stuff. Nomad is and always will be a company that prioritizes design and quality over everything else. One of the most important aspects to us when designing new products is that we use the highest quality, longest lasting materials available. That's what Nomad does. Check out Nomad at nomadgoods.com/Fore to see what living the Nomad life is all about. That's NOMADGOODS.com/Fore. Nomadgoods.com/Fore. Check out what living the Nomad life is all about. All right. We have a few from the galleries that we can get to, if you gentlemen would like. My computer's at 8%, so if I disappear, I'm actually going to try to get to an outlet at some point.
Well, first I want to give a congratulations to the Outcast roller hockey team on Long Island. We've won our first playoff game in franchise history last night. Thank you very much. I do want to.
Any goals?
So I do want to address something to you guys right now, and this is a safe space, and I know we're talking to hundreds of thousands of people, but I'm just talking about a couple of my boys.
Yeah.
And I'm having some trouble on this team recently, and I don't know if this is something that's common when it comes to men's league hockey, but when my personal performance drops, my love for the team aspect also drops, right? Like I was having the time of my life when I was on my 17-game point streak, 17 games played, 17 points. I'm on a 3-game skid here, and we've won 3 games, including a playoff win, first of all time, and I'm just not as happy as I was when I was on the point streak. And I know that sounds selfish, and I know that sounds like a douchebag thing to say, especially in a team sport. I'm being very open and honest about that. I just want you guys to know I have more fun when I score goals. And
I mean, I think this
men's
is good
league
because
at the end of the day,
I mean, you know yourself. You're a selfish human being, and
Right.
so this is just consistent.
I want you to know that this is a safe space.
Yes, thank
and
you.
you can say whatever you want.
I am.
And I appreciate you being open with us. Not only does that sound selfish, it is selfish.
And I want you all to know that it's not like I'm not giving the team everything that I have. I'm still playing my balls off. And when we win, I'm excited. It's just I wish I could have a little bit more success out there. The problem is we've gotten too good, all right? The team was a little bit it was a ragtag group of guys that called the Outcasts. And like when I first joined the team, they're like, oh shit, like Frankie's actually scoring. Like I remember looking at the scoring sheet, like, oh shit, Frankie's the top scorer on the team. You guys were even like, how bad is this team? How is that possible? We actually weren't bad. We actually weren't bad. We just were playing a little bit different style. I was able to get some garbage goals. Now we have these guys on this team, and they're unbelievable. I'm gonna shout out Nick, Mike, Vinny. Is it Vincent? Fuck. Oh man, that's gonna be tough. These guys score.
Doesn't
like,
even know his teammates.
These guys score
No.
like crazy, Lurch. They're end to end. I'm a ghost. I'm a passenger out there.
Would you rather them not be on the team if it meant that you guys would lose, but you would score more goals?
That was
tough
the danger
question.
Really
question.
good
that I
question.
was
It's a
gonna
tough question.
wait on, but it's good you asked.
It's a tough question.
No, it's not. We know the answer.
I hate the pause.
I would
We're
rather
still in that pause.
I would
right
rather
now.
them on the team, and I'd rather be a part of a successful team. I just wish that I was better to be able to play with them. I think that's the real honest answer.
Okay.
Their
I'm
skill
having-
level is higher than yours.
Oh, it's immensely higher, and
Okay.
I'm having less fun playing with better players, which I think people can somewhat understand.
yeah.
You know, it's like I've jumped another league up. Like I'm not ready for it. Like our team has jumped to another stratosphere. We won like 8-2 yesterday, and these guys are setting up one-timers. And like I was just out there like, whoa.
Are you?
They don't
thinking,
even look at me anymore. I was a star 2 weeks ago.
Are you thinking about leaving the team?
No, never.
Okay.
Outcast for life. And I'm
So
happy
are
for them.
you-
We have a game tonight, semifinals. We're going to the Stanley Cup Finals tomorrow. And I know we're going to win tonight. The team's
Now-
a wagon.
Did you guys bring on these guys? Like, do you? It feels like you're at the right level of playing, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you're competitive in this league. You're going on a 3-game points gig, but like you're still a solid player in this league. Do you feel like the
No,
three
not
players
anymore.
that you just mentioned that you brought on are almost unfair to the quality of this league?
No,
Because you were grinding out wins 3-2, losing
Yeah.
2-1, and now we're 8-2. So that's a different level of play.
we've reached another stratosphere when it comes to skill on the Outcast. Like we just have a good team. We have a
Okay.
fantastic team, and I think a lot of those.
And you hate it.
No, I don't hate it. It's just, there was, I'd leave. I used to leave the games, and I'd be like, Papa, I had a point tonight. I had an assist, and I had a goal, and it was like, oh, I can't wait to get home and like shower and like tell people about it and text my friends I scored. And now it's like, oh, how'd the game go? I was like, we fucking won. Oh, we won. And they'll listen to this, and I know they will hear this. I don't want them to think I'm not a team player, because I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna give everything I got. I want to get better. It's just it sucks. It sucks that I can't find the back of the net. I'm on a cold streak. I don't even touch the puck anymore. I'm a ghost out there. I think I under my breath last night just said we scored a goal. And I went back to the bench, and I just, under my breath, I said, I'm a passenger out here. It's selfish, man. But, I'm still happy. I give the guys knocks. I'm, like, excited after the game. Like, wow, what a win, boys. I'm not going to let
But
them
it's all
know.
a lie.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not a lie. I need to be better. It's more of me really admitting that I'm not good, which is hard, because I thought I was getting better.
It's equatable, I guess, to when you're in a golf match and you're playing 2-on-2 with your buddies and you win the match, which we've all been there many times, but you were a complete non-factor.
Exactly.
Like every hole, you're just fist bumping your guy and you're like reading putts for him and you're like, yeah, man, like I think it's a little bit outside right. And it's great that you won, but you don't feel any sense of accomplishment. You're not proud of yourself. Like you didn't earn that drink afterwards. You're sitting there like, man, I didn't do fucking anything. I
laughing
was
at
irrelevant.
Bro, you saying I'm a passenger out here.
Yeah, it's a good line.
It's so funny. And you genuinely saying that under your breath
Yeah.
as they're celebrating a
Yeah.
goal, making a playoff run. You're just over there stewing. I'm a passenger out here.
I agree, Riggs. It's exactly that. I mean, I've been in
sucks.
that boat with Lurch, where it's just like, I'm sorry. Like you get back in the cart, it's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm just not here today. I don't know. I just
I've
have
done the same
nothing.
with you. Yeah,
You know?
it sucks.
We've
However,
all done it.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
different in a team aspect. Like I should be happier. I should be happy to just like dump the puck out of the defensive zone and move it and give it to Mike and Andrew and Nick and these guys that are really good at hockey. And I just watch them. And like I watch our defensemen.
Fucking
on our
Andrew
team.
and Mike and fucking Nick.
I watch our
Fuck those
team.
guys.
I watch our team. I watch our defensemen, and they're happy, man. They're just playing defense. They're jacked up when they score. Like when we score, they're on defense, like tapping their sticks, and I'm just sitting there like, motherfucker, I didn't touch the fucking puck in 2 hours.
Frankie's over there, like gets there early and is just dulling the skates of the other guys on his team. Just fucking hacking
I want
the
to be
blades
better.
up.
I don't want my team to come down to my level. I need to get better. It's a big wake up call. All right. I got cocky. I was walking around the rink being like point per game, and everyone's like, well, really, in men's league, you should be like 4 points over the games played. Like if you're any decent in this league, like it's fucking roller hockey. Like you should have 5 goals a game. So I'm starting to see that now. So it's just, I just thought this would be a safe space to be able to explain what I'm going through in my life. It's something that, I have a game tonight and, I'm excited for it, but I just hope I hope I can contribute,
We hope that for you.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Big time.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, like, how many times in these matches that we've done where Lurch has played well and carried the team have you been like, I would happily lose this match if it meant me, Frankie Borelli, shot like 77 today.
Oh, and, I think a lot of people would be able to admit that,
What?
I think a lot of people would be able to admit that they, like when you're playing in a golf match that you want to play well. Would you really?
Right,
But would
and
you
lose.
sacrifice
and Rick said and lose. 77
the win?
lose.
Nah.
I hate the pause is awful.
No,
As a
because, like, I'm
team
trying to
guy,
think-
the pause is awful.
No, because I'm trying to think. Like, I don't want to lose these hockey games I'm playing. I'm happy that we're winning them. Like, I'm genuinely happy. I would probably still take the win in golf, but I'd get in the car and be like disgusted with myself. Sure, I'd be happy we won it, but I wouldn't be. I'm
What
not
if you had,
riding
like,
home shooting 120 when Lurch shot a 68 and won the match for us. I'm not like, yay. But I wouldn't
What if-
switch it.
Question: what if like it was like you had a big moment, like tonight's hockey game, 2-2, they score with like 6 minutes left to go 3-2. You bury one
Yeah.
late, sick goal, kind of like catch it off the inside of your skate, just roof one.
We could
Go
lose and I wouldn't
3-3
care.
with like 10 seconds to go, but then you lose in overtime.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. For that moment, like if I have that moment of everyone being like, Frankie, I'm just like, let's go. I'll be riding that high for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I would literally be like that asshole in the locker room being like, boys, we really almost had that one. Like a big smile on my face. Always next year.
This is just who you are, and I appreciate you
Yeah.
admitting
Right.
it to such a large audience.
100%.
I don't want my
also
team
just-
to think that I'm not a team player because I am,
Oof,
I think
tough
to a
tough
point.
to say that.
To a
Yeah,
point.
to a point.
See, it's more just like I'm just the honest player. Everyone has this feeling. You want personal success. It's not like you don't want the team to win. I'm just not as happy as when we were winning. I'm not as happy as I was when we were winning when I was scoring. All right,
Fair.
it's fair. You think a guy who's on a 0 for 100 bad streak in baseball is like that jacked up after they like win just a regular just a game? He's just like fuck.
Maybe you just need a good coach to put you in to do a job. You know what I mean? Maybe
I need a
maybe
job.
you're a grinder, Frankie. Maybe you're a grinder. You know what I mean? Maybe you're
I
not
need
a
somebody to
sport.
give me an attaboy for the
you're like-
grinder. That's a problem.
Right.
It's men's league roller
Yeah.
hockey. No one's giving attaboys when I'm in the corner and I get the puck to the blue line and then they set up a nice play. No one's giving me an attaboy. They're just giving the attaboys to the guys who played fucking college hockey and they're going in and out and they're going end to end. I'm not getting any fucking fist bumps. That's the problem. You know what I mean?
Mike's getting all of them. And,
God.
And I don't remember their names.
I think at one point I'm like, I think I got to buy Mike some dinner to get me a puck out here. You know? Whew. Somebody give me an apple.
Man.
Starving. I'm starving out there.
Best of luck
Whoop.
tonight.
Whoop. Go to whoop.com. Enter the code 4play at checkout to save 50%. Whoop is the world's most powerful fitness wearable that provides 24/7 personalized training, sleep, recovery, all kinds of information. Whoop's great. It's very addicting when you wake up with that green, when you get that green
amazing.
circle. It tells you how well you recovered. It's like it's like somebody give you a shot of adrenaline where you're just like, oh, I got it today. I'm sharp. I'm ready. I'm refueled. I'm recovered. My body slept, which even though it sleeps, 20 years during my life, it slept last night, which is great.
I also saw that they just got a bananas valuation.
$2 bill?
3.
$3 bill?
I think it was over 3. So it's just
$3.6, I think, $1 billion.
yes. So, and that's the business world and all that, but that is also just proof that everyone has started to use it, and they've had a great couple of years. We've been on with them during that time as well, and I really do love it. I will continue to use it, and clearly a lot of other people out there in the world have decided to trust Whoop with their health, and it's just going to continue rolling on.
The technology in it's fantastic. I mean, the fact that
We talked about that with Will when he came on, the CEO.
it's the fact that it's able to do what it can do, and you never have to take it off. You charge it while it's on you, and the waterproof aspect. I don't know that we've ever talked about how good the waterproofing is. I mean, I soak this thing in the shower.
Yeah, I shower every single day with it.
I'm in the pool with it for hours during the summer, and just like arm dangling in the water. This is an electronic piece of technology that tracks your heart rate and respiratory rate, and I'm just dipping it in ocean water. Like, I don't understand how it never ever gets inside the stuff that it can't get into. You know what I mean? Like, if you spritz a little bit of water on your PlayStation, it goes on fire. If you're in a steamy shower in a bathroom and your shower's running, your phone like erupts into a million pieces. Like, how does this Whoop band on your wrist survive all this water damage? It's insane.
It's an incredibly impressive piece of technology.
It's amazing, and I'm seeing so many more athletes wearing it. Hockey players, tennis players, you're seeing wearing it. It's really it's amazing. It's an amazing piece of technology. I'm very happy that we have it.
Yeah, my heart rate right now, I think it's in the 68.
69, nice.
Damn, that's pretty low.
That is pretty low.
Just for
Well, I honestly panicked, dude. I just look. You probably see on the show. I panicked. It was like 125 when I first pulled it up, and I was like,
So
"What?"
how did you calm
and then
that down?
Well, I think because I was screaming at you, maybe it was so high.
That's definitely what it was.
Dude,
I
during
just
the
kinda-
Islanders playoff game, at one point, it was a stagnant, like the way I was just sitting watching the game, first period was 167.
Oh,
Just sitting there.
and that's another thing that is like beneficial, where you can look at it and see 167 or 120 and be like, all right, I got to calm down a little bit.
I
gotta figure this out.
That's
good
a hospital
point.
visit.
You know, it's a good way to track how you're feeling in that moment.
Yeah, it's
I
close
got,
to a hospital visit.
I got good sleep last night, 8 hours, 13 minutes, but I've been on the
Yeah.
road a lot, so I didn't have a touch, so I needed 9 hours and 15. It just gives you great information. Remember, you could go to whoop.com, use the code foreplay at checkout. That's WHOOP.com. Enter foreplay, one word, at checkout to save 15%. Whoop is awesome. It's just a phenomenal device. We all use it, and it's great. $3.6 billion, boys. Imagine that valuation.
Yeah, and like
That's crazy.
from what we've seen, I get it. Like the technology, I still don't understand it, and that's why I know that it's good. And clearly, smarter people than I, a lot smarter than I, trust it and are like, this is the valuation.
You can do the math, the $3.6 billion.
What?
You said you get the math. I just want to be clear that you can figure out a way that
No, I'm
makes
saying I'm
We
saying
can't
that
do
lar-
any math.
No, I can't. Well, I'm saying, but I understand why the number is so big.
What was your best subject in school?
got to be English, right?
Yeah, probably language arts, English.
Yeah.
I'm bad at science. I'm okay at basic math, but like once we start getting to the levels where calculus and all that type of stuff, it's like I
Made
can't.
up stuff.
I just can't. Yeah, all that made up magic stuff. I can't do that.
I would say mine was history because I got so into it at the time.
You still like
like-
history.
Yeah.
I like history a lot, but it's not like I could go answer all the, you know what I mean? Those tests. Like I retained all of it, but I was good in history class because I loved the actual content of history.
Right.
I
That's
agree.
actually, I feel the same way about like English. Like I really liked reading and writing and
Nerd.
blogging and all that stuff that it ends up being. I heard that. What it ends up being. But then like the things that I don't care about or I'm not passionate about, like science,
Oh.
like that type, like where they're trying to shove it down your throat and learn it type of science. Like now I'm interested in science.
See, I didn't care about photosynthesis. I didn't
Right.
care about I don't know, anything that was green I didn't really care about. You know, I felt like there was a big period of time in science where everything was green. You were looking at cells and you were learning about mitochondria and all this bullshit, and I just didn't like any of that.
Yeah.
When we started talking about space, as you guys probably can figure out, that's where they really grabbed me. Where it's like, hey, like this is a fucking scary place we're living in, and I was like, holy shit, Mr. T, let me know about this. Like, what
Right,
do
you
mean
also-
we're on a floating rock.
You
Like,
also find that when
talk to
something
me.
isn't like thrust upon you or like you're not forced to learn something and you
Right.
gravitate to the things that are interesting to you. You're clearly interested in space, so you want to learn about that part of it, not photosynthesis.
history also really grabbed me because you were always able to learn something from like a good movie. Like they'd show you like a good movie that was like a well-known movie in the history class where you're like, oh yeah, like this is a Hollywood movie that like has like good actors in it. I'm able to watch it. Like you could watch like, I don't know, like Lincoln or something. And like that is a history lesson in that. You're learning things about your country. You're learning things about the historical ways that that things happen, and you're also getting entertained. I used to love that shit.
Yeah.
Other subjects not so much. You couldn't really put a picture to it. I'm a very visual person, so if I'm able to do that, like see it, I'll learn better. So
How'd you feel about math, Frankie?
I hated math. Fucking hated math. Had a math tutor. It was a nightmare.
Languages for me were brutal. Like French, dude.
Spanish.
That was a couple go rounds of French class.
Boy, I had a teacher that just did not like me. Spanish teacher, Miss Gordine, Senora Gordine. Holy smokes.
I wish.
Little PTSD
I feel like you
there.
could be a little bit of a problem.
She,
Definitely.
yeah, no.
I wish I had applied myself more in the Spanish classes that I took.
Same.
Like I wish I had that skill now.
Dude,
But
in
back
college,
then I was-
we had to do.
I wish I knew Spanish.
Me too.
I was listening to Joe Rogan. You guys ever hear of him? Podcaster.
I've
No.
heard it, yeah.
He had that
Yep.
guy Lex Friedman on.
That's why I don't
Yeah.
eat breakfast anymore. That's why I don't eat breakfast
You
anymore.
still on that train?
Yeah, I don't eat breakfast.
But you're still doing
That
the one meal a
sucks.
day, or have you given that up?
Well, my main thing was I started by being extreme, where I pretty much only ate one meal a day, and then I kind of transferred to intermittent fasting. But it is 50 right now, and I haven't eaten yet today.
All right, that makes sense.
Jesus, good for
I
you.
want to say that
pretty
he
good.
had this guy Lex Friedman on.
Yeah.
Very smart individual.
Mhm.
He said something to me that really blew my mind, where he was basically talking about languages and saying that the English language is so simple in the fact that we only have a certain amount of words to express our feelings, where like a language like Russian has like all of these different ways to express certain words and feelings, where it's like more of like if you're in love, or if you're like trying to express love, there's more words and feelings and descriptions about it that make it just a better experience.
Right.
Which to me was nuts, that like there are other languages that they can open up your brain about how someone's feeling more. And we can't get that because we're just singular language people.
Right. The way we look at it, words and languages, like it's one-to-one.
One to
So
one.
we would think that
Lurch is
if
giving me these eyes.
if
like
I
he
say a
doesn't
word
understand
in
what I'm
English,
Oh,
there's
no,
just
no, I'm with you. I was just like deep into it, being like how you express that and like what that does to change it. No, I was actually.
Isn't
You
that,
had me.
like,
You got me in
eye-opening?
a trance, Frankie. Of,
It is,
like,
it's
I was,
why
like,
they're-
deep
it's
in
why they
thought
say,
because of what
like,
you said.
like a lot of great writers are Russian, or like a lot of great poets are Russian, or any different language, because they can express it in a better and different way.
So when their stuff gets translated to English, they're just furious because it sucks.
Totally.
It
Probably
just
doesn't have the
says, "I
same
love you."
effect. Right.
Just
Yeah.
terrible.
It's just like, oh, you ruined my art.
We just don't have the
Right.
words for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that just like, aren't there just words, or like are they inventing? Like aren't the words like? And
That's-
it's just in a different language. Like they're coming up with different ways.
More
to
words.
I don't
Just-
know. I don't know how. I don't know.
No, it's
how
tough
to wrap
to
my brain
it's tough to wrap
around it.
our brains around it, coming from the English language. That's the only language that we know.
Like if I say happy, they're basically saying they have different forms of saying the word happy that would
Right.
equate to exactly what type of happiness they have, right?
I believe so.
And there's
I think that's
more-
right, but we're
okay.
not. I mean, I don't know Russian, so it's tough.
But I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's
that
a
is
more
the idea,
beautiful way of explaining it, and I can actually understand where you're at in a normal conversation, as opposed to us as Americans just being like, "I'm happy."
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It is a little mind blowing
Okay.
when you think about it, though.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anybody got anything else?
I think that about wraps it up, kids.
Real quick, I know I've been talking a lot at the end of this podcast. I have
okay,
to get this
Frankie.
one off my chest. And, I don't know, maybe you guys have something similar in your lives. I used to go to this place called Pita Lovers. And this was, if you found Frankie Borelli on Long Island before Barstool, you either went to Borelli's or you went to Pita Lovers, because I'd be sitting there eating one of two things. It was right by my house, and I fucking loved this place. They had this panini there, and it was where I've had my love for paninis. It was a grilled chicken panini. Whatever, I'm not going to get into the crazy, dirty details.
Okay.
I used to get a panini, and then I used to get a grilled chicken Caesar wrap from there. And when I talk to you guys about grilled chicken Caesar wraps, we all eat grilled chicken Caesar wraps, right? From time to time. I know Riggs is a big grilled chicken Caesar wrap guy.
Delicious. One of my favorite lunch options when I used to eat lunch.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's these creamy white Caesar dressing wraps, and like it gets very moist and mushy, and it's just like it's the Caesar dressing that's meant for an ice cold salad at a restaurant. It's not meant for your wrap that you want to like really bite into and like get a nice taste out of. Do you guys agree with me? Sometimes it's just a little bit too creamy and messy and nasty. Anyway, I go to Peter Lovers 10 years ago. I find this wrap. It's a vinaigrette-based Caesar. It's got a little bit more bite. It's not as creamy. They mix it in with a little Parmesan cheese. I fell in love with this thing, right? It's the only Caesar wrap that tasted like this that I could find on the planet. What happens? They go out of business. They're gone. This is like 5 years ago. I was distraught. I used to go here 3-4 times a week. This is my only thing I would eat aside from Borelli's with Peter Lovers, chicken Caesar wraps. They go out of business. 5 years go by, 6 years goes by, however long I've been working here. The other night, I'm ordering Greek. I find this new Greek place, and it's called Greekalicious, right? I go order on Uber Eats, and I'm at my parents' house. I'm sitting there at the dinner table, and I'm eating, and my dad goes, what is that? I said, oh, it's simply Greekalicious, this new spot that opened up in Wantagh. He goes, you know who opened that place? I said, who opened that place, Dad? He goes, the people that used to own Pita Lovers.
Yeah.
And I said, now shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to open up this menu right now, Dad. And if the fucking grilled chicken Caesar wrap is on this goddamn menu at Greekalicious, I'm going to fucking pass out. What happens? The grilled chicken Caesar wrap is on that menu. So that night goes by. I eat my fucking my grilled chicken kebabs, whatever I was having. The next day, you better goddamn believe, all day I was waiting to put in that order for a grilled chicken Caesar wrap. And what happens at 7 o'clock at night? I open this thing up, and it's the same wrap, baby.
Woo!
I've been waiting for this shit for 6 goddamn years. It's the same Caesar dressing. It's even better than it used to be. Maybe because I've been waiting for it for so long. They cut it on an angle
Absence
now.
makes the heart grow fonder.
Oh my God, it's the same thing. I'm looking around. I'm like, Ma, it's got the bite. And they're clapping. They're cheering. We almost cried last night. It has the bite. It has the fucking pizzazz. It's not your average creamy ass fucking Caesar dressing. By the way, history lesson, Caesar dressing, not Italian. It's actually an Italian that went to Mexico, and Mexicans actually have it as their delicacy. They claim it as their own. It's actually a Mexican delicacy,
really?
Caesar dressing. Yeah, it's a little Frankie fact there. But it was an Italian that did it in Mexico.
Gotcha.
Anyway, just wanted to say that. It's something that I've been dealing with in my life. It was a big moment last night. And I'll be going to Greekalicious to get their grilled chicken Caesar wrap for as long as I live until Peter Lovers ownership moves to another place.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm very excited, as you guys can probably tell.
We're happy for you.
You know what I mean, though, when you find something like that.
Yeah.
And it comes. Oh my God.
And rarely does it come back.
Yes.
Very rarely.
It almost never comes back.
I mean,
right.
There's got to be places in Cedar Rapids that like you used to, go to, and they're no longer around. And
Last time I was there, I talked about it on the show. I went back for a family reunion. My favorite Chinese food place in the world, Pays, closed.
Yep.
And it's still closed. And I do not think it's coming back. And I legitimately almost cried the last time we left.
Now tell me if you found out, if you were eating some regular place and someone says, the guys from Pays actually opened up this new Chinese place down the road, what would you think about that?
I would legitimately tear up.
Exactly.
Because they have the best Chinese food that I couldn't find anywhere else in Cedar Rapids. I can't find anywhere in New York City, and I'll never find it. And now it's just gone. It's an empty cement building that used to serve the greatest Chinese food in the world. And I hope that my story has the same ending that yours did.
I hope so too, man. I really do.
Dude, there's a restaurant, a takeout place in South Boston called AK's South Boston that we used to order from all the time. Like our first 3 or 4 years out of school, everybody's like young. We still played video games after work all the time. We'd fucking do like 1 or 2 nights a week where somebody'd pick up a 30 rack of beer, and then we'd order AKs, and we would just play like Halo or NHL for like 5 hours before we went to sleep after work. And they had a chicken broccoli Alfredo that I would order all the time, and they would give you 2 little like slivers of crispy like garlic bread that you dipped in the Alfredo sauce at the end, and it was fucking awesome. And they didn't go out of business. I just moved away from there, and I just looked them up to make sure they exist, because someday when I'm back in South Boston, man, or Boston in general, I will drive my ass across town and I will go to AK South Boston and get that dish, because there's nothing like that meal that just they hit every time. And I would think about it at work all day. I'd be sitting there on my fucking computer and I'd just be like, man, I cannot wait to be having an Xbox 360 controller in my hand, a beer, and fucking chicken broccoli Alfredo from AK.
Just brings you back. There's some places that like they just, I don't know what it is. Like this is a grilled chicken Caesar wrap. It's nothing. I mean, you can pick these up at the airport on your way on a flight. They're prepackaged sometimes. Like it's not a 5-star meal, but for some reason it hooked me. The way they did it, it's different, and it just tasted something where it was like a drug. It literally was like my meth. Like I couldn't I was addicted to it. I couldn't fucking stop. I was like this dressing. Where do you find it? And they would never tell me.
Never tell me.
God,
That's what that story is it's hope for everybody out there who has the meal like that you're talking about, like Riggs is talking about, like I'm talking about. It can come back.
and you search for it on the way.
Yeah.
I've gotten so many grilled chicken Caesar wraps, and you bite into it, and you're like, it's not pita lovers. And that was happening for the last 6 years. And last night I had it again, man. Tears were rolling down my cheek. Also, another thing that I cried at, I watched the movie Coda on Apple TV.
I want to watch that.
And I cried like a fucking baby. Like a baby that just was getting his teeth ripped out.
That movie, I watched the trailer for that movie. It gave me goosebumps.
I was uncontrollably crying. Great movie. Couldn't recommend more. Apple TV, Coda. Watch it immediately. Let me know what you think.
I watched Free Guy. I went to the theaters.
Fantastic.
Watched Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. Really good.
Hard to find a bad Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah, it's a feel good time. I recommend that as well. You can't watch it on a streaming service, but you get to go to the movie theater. I got popcorn, I got Milk Duds, I got peanut M&Ms, and I got a big soda, and I had a good time.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Watch Molly's game yet?
Okay.
No.
Everybody ready to rock here?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. That's good. 2 hours and 15 minutes. We screamed at each other. Fun time.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
got
that's a
the
good pod.
Tour Championship this weekend. We've discussed that at length. And we've got on Tuesday, or actually tonight, by the way, we got episode 3 of the travel series comes out. So Thursday night, YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Go check that out. We'll be in the Forest Dunes is what it is. We'll be in the chat going back and forth, handicap police, all that good jazz. So see you there tonight. Champion versus champion. We got Kepka Dave on Tuesday at Liberty National. Be ready for that. All kinds of good stuff going on in the golf world. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Good hard.
Hit hard.